Think again, because people are listening to radio more today than they did 20 years ago. And only iHeartRadio connects with more Americans than TV, digital, and even social. Learn how radio can help your business. Call 844-844-iHeart.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? We are back on this Tuesday afternoon. It is warm out, Alan. It is August.
Beautiful. Love it.
It's a nice time.
So nice.
If you're what creature enjoys this weather?
Like a lizard.
Yeah,
like
lizards. Like,
yeah,
it's another nice day out here.
Yeah, lizards loving this.
Spectacular weather we're having. Yeah. It's such a good point.
Is one of the things I know we put in our notes for the rundown was, let's start out the show talking about the environment for lizards.
We said the temperature and the lizards because of everything going on right now.
Yeah, no, so they're thriving right now.
I was like, hey, do you want to go into like more Dodger fallout? Do you want to start with the Padres game yesterday in Jackson, Maryland? And
I said, like, you sure we don't go reptiles?
Like, the thing is, I saw a lizard today, and it was warm at my place. All right, there's a lot to get to today. Darnay Tripp, friend of the show.
Darnay,
we saw him yesterday, kind of big leagued us, as I like to say. Like, he was like, I'm at the Padres press conference.
Here's the thing. Oh, you know what you got to ask him today?
Yeah, what's that?
Didn't you tell me there was the moment where you, like, told his parents or something that you broke the news?
No, I said on the radio he was having twins.
Yes.
Which I didn't realize you're not allowed to say on the radio that someone's having twins, because he told me he was having twins. Well,
you gave me your side of the story. I'd like to hear his side of the story.
His is completely different.
Okay.
The way he remembers it is much different.
I believe that.
Brett, what did happen?
You just blurted it out.
I did do that.
Yes.
I did. I said, Darnay, congratulations on the news. And he's like, what?
It'd be one thing if he did like accidentally tell Darnay's parents, but he accidentally told the entire city of San Diego.
Darnay's parents weren't aware before our listeners.
Well, here's what I'd like to know.
Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes the listeners need that news first.
He had 2 kids. He acted like I said he was having triplets. He had 2 children, twins.
I love that justification. But here's what I want from Darnay. What I'm gonna try to kind of pry out of him as an investigative journalist. I'm gonna try to, did he give you a heads up? Hey, don't say anything. Like, at what point does Darnay also have some responsibility?
Thank you.
At what point?
Well,
does this just always just fall on you?
Well, we'll ask him. If he's still going to come on the show, he's scheduled to join us today at 4:30.
All right, let's do it.
Also today at 5 p.m., Joe Block, longtime radio announcer for the Pirates, used to work with the Brewers. Actually, listen to this. Joe Block used to run a website, Alan.
Okay.
And I think this is right, callofthegame.com. It was a message board for aspiring sportscasters.
Okay.
Play-by-play, baseball, basketball, football. In like the 2000s, from like 2000 to 2010, along with everyone working in the minor leagues at that time, if you were in like your 20s, maybe your 30s, I was obsessed with it. You'd go every day like, Altuna's got an opening. Like Elsnor's got an opening. Like he would post that type of information. He was in the minor leagues at the time. And then he's been working in the major leagues probably for 15 years. But it was like a huge resource of a site for sportscasters.
Early on too.
In the 2000s. But the site no longer exists. He now calls game for the Pirates. So
it's fair enough.
He's going to join us coming up at 5 p.m. Last night, dude, we're texting back and forth.
Kind
of have to. I mean,
you definitely have to.
But it was a tough. I agree with you. It's one of those where you're like, how do they not win this game?
Yesterday was arguably one of the most frustrating Padre games I've watched all season. And listen, there were some moments in that game yesterday where it's like, yeah, they don't deserve to win this game. But there are also moments where you're like, all right, I need this game to finish because I just quickly want to go to the standings. And I just want to start seeing that 3 in front of Arizona.
Right.
And that 5 in front of Miami and St. Louis. And that 1 in front of Philadelphia. Like you got to that point. You got to that point where you just felt like, hey, the Padres are going to win a game that was funky. And maybe there's some moments you thought it wasn't going to happen. but they're going to find a way to win this game, and they're going to gain ground on everybody.
Yeah. Didn't happen.
Did not happen. Hey, Merrill, you want to take a pitch? I know we can go on a bunch of different rants here, but Jackson Merrill, that dude that was very, very frustrating yesterday trying to play hero ball.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Who gets more blame?
Okay.
Merrill or me? And the reason I say it is I was going down the path of, hey, maybe they could catch even like the Cubs. Right? Wasn't I going down that path? I was going down that path.
You were going down that path. I didn't even understand like your angle there.
Well, there were 4 back. I mean, when you're 4 games back and there's 30-something to play.
And you got a squad 2 games back of you.
No, you were right.
So like, which one are you looking at?
But I was very aspirational. I was thinking, hey, let's keep
reckless.
I was a little reckless.
Yes.
So what happens yesterday is not only to the Padres lose in really bad fashion.
It's like you have a house payment coming up, and you're like, yeah, but before I make this house payment, I really want to go buy
another house.
Yeah, I want to go buy something that just completely demolishes my finances.
Welcome to my life with my wife.
Okay.
But no, you were right. You were in the end. Let's forget about the Cubs. Let's talk about the postseason.
Yeah.
And yesterday's one of these games where on one hand, you're like, okay, they trailed again 2-0 and they got back into a game and Jake Cronenworth had a clutch hit and Adrian Morejon and Mason Miller had scoreless innings and you're set up for success, dude. You're in the 9th, 10th, and 11th innings in a position to walk off, okay, in a tie game. You can't do it in any of those innings. In the 12th inning, you're still only trailing by a run, by the way. There's a runner at second base. And they just failed time and time again to come through.
How about
most
the 2
noticeably?
Bunts? How about the 2 bunts that went for basically infield fly balls?
Right, they were like home runs. But again, I think a lot of people, including myself, and I think you feel the same way. I've circled a Jackson Merrill bat where the bases are loaded with 1 out. And there were back-to-back walks.
I was just going to say, it's not even he came up with the bases loaded. 2 guys ripped singles. He literally just walked Manny Machado on 4 pitches. I can't remember with Ty France how many pitches. Ty France gets on as well. But that might have been a full count.
And then he's swinging at everything, and nothing was near the zone.
Pitch?
And there was just a meeting at the mound with the pitching coach, and they carved him up. I mean, they completely carved him up, executed on their strategy, and it was the difference between winning and losing. And Merrill on his bobblehead night goes 0 for 5 with that terrible strikeout. Had 2 strikeouts in the game. Very winnable game. It's like, what do they say? It's like grasping defeat from the jaws of victory or whatever. Like the game was won multiple times over, yet they still lost the game.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it frustrating. What makes it frustrating is it's not one of those games. If Pittsburgh just came out and they won the game 6-2, and it's like, hey, they just played better. But there are plenty of opportunities. I mean, you also used Mason Miller through 30 plus pitches. I mean, had a tough 9th inning. Adrian Morejon comes in and just continues to work his magic. Probably the unsung hero for the Padres all year that doesn't get talked about enough. The conversation at the trade deadline of the value of Mason Miller. I get it. I know you have him under control, but Jesus, I can make an argument here that Adrian Morejon has been just as important for the Padres this year than any reliever and any pitcher for the Padres this season. So what was frustrating about it yesterday is Craig Stammen played that game kind of putting everything in to walk away with a W. And the players just didn't come through. The players didn't execute. And they didn't need... Yeah, I say this because we said it a little bit earlier. Man, what's worse in sports than hero ball? And I thought Jackson Merrill stepped up to the plate to be a hero, not to let me work a count.
Do the job.
Let me, let me find the pitch I'm looking for that I know I could drive out to center and I know is going to get Tatis of all players. You started that inning with Tatis as the ghost runner, so it's like you're positioned as good as possible. Cronenworth didn't send him over, but then they had the double steal with 1 out. And all you needed Jackson Merrill to do was play within his means. Don't try to be hero ball. Don't try to slap. Nobody needs a walk-off grand slam. You just need a W, and you got to be smart about it. And he wasn't. He was way too amped up in a situation that, unfortunately was more about him. He strikes out in 3 pitches.
I made the analogy last night. It's like, you got to know when you're at a poker table and you got more chips. Like, you have the leverage. He had walked consecutive batters. The bases are loaded. That's advantage you. Okay. You're at all the advantages. You have the better hand. You have more chips. Don't play like you've got, nothing to lose. You know what I mean? Don't play 100%. The hand that you weren't dealt. You are dealt a favorable hand, and he didn't let it play out for whatever guy reason.
At third. You got like everything was situated perfectly, and yeah, I guess honestly, I think there was enough that went on in that game where the pitchers did their job, and offensively they didn't execute to do their job.
And I made this point. I'll make it again here. It's like, over the course of a season, you're going to lose games like this. Obviously, there's going to be execution issues, but this is potentially a recipe for an exit in a postseason. But you can't throw a game away. Now, the one thing I would say in a postseason is you're not going to be bunting very often. They don't just throw runners out there at second base. It's a different game in the postseason. But if you play like you did last night in a postseason game, of course, you're going to lose said game. And hopefully it is just the blip for a team that is still 21-8 in their last 29 games.
Last night was more just a missed opportunity. And look, I go back to the game against Minnesota on Saturday. Should they have beat the Twins on Saturday? Got to kind of couple things your way. There's been some errors in that series that went the Padres' way. So down 5-1. We were talking about Bell yesterday with the bases loaded in the 6th inning, 1 out, and Minnesota couldn't capitalize and close out that game, and Padres end up coming back. They win that game 7-5. Maybe things just even themselves out in baseball, right?
Yeah,
so that's what last night could have been. But we have short memories, and we don't remember the things that. What do they say? You go to a good restaurant, you tell one person. You go to a bad restaurant, you tell 9 or 10 people. Yesterday was a bad restaurant. Yesterday was a bad experience, and you just wanted to tell everybody how bad the Padres were for one night.
Now tonight they try to avoid back-to-back losses for the first time post All-Star break, and they're going to try to do it against Paul Skenes.
All-Star break? That's the first time since post All-Star break?
I do not believe they've lost back-to-back. I'm wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong, because they went 2-5.
Since it's been a month. July 23rd?
So it's been a long time since they had, because even the series they lost to the Mets, it was one. Yeah, it was 2 losses, but a win in between.
It's been over a month, and they'll try to.
Why
avoid
are you
it
just
tonight.
making up stats? Like, I don't understand why you're just
All-Star break.
I mean, I'm waiting for you to say this is their first loss since April 18th.
It's the last time they lost back-to-back games was July 22nd and 23rd against Atlanta. That feels like it was before the break, but it was just after the break. They'll try to avoid it tonight against Paul Skenes. We'll get into that matchup. It's the debut of Paul Skenes at Petco against the Padres. Plus, what Jeff Passan has to say about the situation unfolding with the Dodgers in LA.
Guy is dancing around all over the place.
At 3:30. Darnay Tripp at 4:30.
Reading off a
Stay with us on Schaefer and Sliwa. Hey guys, it is Schaefer again for my friends at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. 1 a month to get out to Starlight Pool. With this weather, you can experience next-level chill, soak up the sun, and soak in the views at San Diego's ultimate rooftop pool. With day passes starting at just $40, so grab your friends, relax, make it a pool day to remember. Plus, keep the weekend vibes going with Sunday pool parties at Starlight Pool featuring live DJs, cocktails, cabanas, and all-day rooftop energy. Visit the hotel and spa at Jamul, where you can experience elevated luxury. They've got their refined hotel stay, rooftop relaxation, indulgent spa treatments, and all of the excitement of Jamul Casino Resort seamlessly brought together in one unforgettable destination. And now you can take your stay to the next level with exclusive hotel packages crafted for the ultimate escape. While you're there, enjoy all of their great food options like Jamul 23 with their lobster buffet every day. There you can enjoy all-you-can-eat lobster every day, plus dozens of other delicious stations. This at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
With the iHeartRadio app, you can stream us wherever you are, 24 hours a day. Just search for San Diego Sports 760 to stream us live all day, every day. You can leave your comments for us using the TalkBack microphone. Tell us what you liked, what you didn't like, what you want us to talk about. Make us a preset so we pop up each time you open up that app, San Diego Sports 760, always live on the iHeartRadio app.
By the way, is there any concern with Manny Machado's health?
A little bit.
Who multiple times in one plate appearance yesterday was flailing with his one hand. Like, I don't know if it was a pinky-related injury or what finger it was related to, but clearly was in visible pain. Stayed in the game because it's Manny Machado. I'm not expecting him not to be in a lineup because it is Manny Machado, but he hasn't hit well, and it's another reason to be concerned about Machado down the stretch.
I respect the I'm going to stay in the game.
No doubt.
I respect I'm Manny Machado. All good. But I want you to be smart. I don't want you to be Manny Machado.
Sure.
And I want Craig Stammen to be smart. I don't want him to say, well, it's Manny and Manny can do whatever he wants to do.
Right.
By the way, that stuff has to stop. Like this whole, anyways, well, it's a different conversation. But whether Manny Machado is on fire or he's not, they need him. And they need him for the big picture. So if Manny needs a day off, give Manny a day off. And if tomorrow is the day to do it because you're off on Thursday,
yeah,
then make it happen. But we need a healthy Manny Machado, not a flailing with one hand Manny Machado. So whatever it is, hopefully they're, obviously discussing what to do.
I find this amazing because it feels like as the Padres get ready for the Pirates and Paul Skenes, it feels like Skenes has been in the major leagues for a really long time. I mean, he's had
what year is your third year?
It's his third year.
Yeah.
He's had sub-2 ERAs each of his first 2 years of the major leagues, which is essentially unprecedented, right? That's one of the biggest success stories to start a career of a starter in modern baseball history. Obviously, the Rookie of the Year over Jackson Merrill 2 seasons ago. This is the first time he's pitched at Petco. He's only faced the Padres one time in 3 seasons. That was this year.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about this briefly yesterday. He hasn't been the sub-2 ERA guy this year. They need to capitalize because Mason Miller, unavailable, presumably. He threw 30 pitches. They should
he's not pitching.
Adrian Morejon threw 2 innings.
2 innings.
He should absolutely be unavailable. So
Strada pitched yesterday, too.
Leads me down a path of you're going to need to score some runs, hopefully.
And you're going to need Michael King to give you some innings, too.
No doubt. So, I mean, this is an interesting one, I would say.
Yeah,
Again, trying to avoid back-to-back losses for the first time since July 23rd.
I think it's interesting for all those reasons. I think, like I said, maybe part of the frustration last night, too, was you could have kind of stomached, hey, look how many guys the Padres used yesterday. And if they won that game, it's like, all right, you take an L today, you take an L. Now you're, now you're in a much tougher position. You could lose the first 2 games here against Pittsburgh, and it would just kind of, put a little taste in your mouth. They had went through just sweeping the Twins the way they did. So they got some work to do. It ain't going to be easy with Skenes. Would you be surprised Skenes all of a sudden is phenomenal tonight? I wouldn't be surprised.
You know what's interesting to me,
Alan, struggled.
Is that I don't know if babied is the right word, but it's like you're playing for nothing. Okay. And you don't want to shut him down because, I mean, shoot, you might trade him next year. It's already his 4th year in the major leagues. But listen to his last 5 outings. This is from most recent to 5 outings ago. 4 1/3 innings.
Yeah.
5 innings. 5 innings. 4 innings. 5 1/3. So he hasn't gone more than 5 1/3 innings in 5 consecutive starts. In 4 of them, he's gone 5 or fewer innings. So he hasn't been some built-up workhorse going 6+ innings. It's not who he's been. I mean, they've been very cautious with him here later in the year, and maybe it's because they're falling out and they understand that what's the risk reward element to it.
I think he's fallen out. Plus, just like
numbers aren't good.
Numbers aren't good.
Yeah,
I mean, his last 3 starts, those 5 innings you mentioned, 3 earned runs, 4 walks.
Yep.
Start after that, 5 earned runs, 4 walks. 5 earned runs, 2 walks.
Yeah.
Now he had 11 strikeouts in that game against the Cubbies. It's actually going backwards. But I think the point that I'm trying to make is that he hasn't looked like the Paul Skenes. I want to go back to something you just said. You said that they may trade him next year.
Maybe
right?
CBA related, maybe not.
This to me is the perfect example of why we got to get baseball fixed.
But can I say this? And I'm not disagreeing, but can I just say that? Can I throw this in there?
Skubal having to get traded this year is the
that might be a better example
of why you have to get baseball fixed.
But let me say this.
Everybody becomes a minor league system to these other.
But Pittsburgh is minor league, and that's their own doing. Pittsburgh has been that poorly, ineptly run. As in there are other examples of similar payrolls and similar markets that have been much more successful than, I mean, Pittsburgh has been the bottom of the barrel almost by their own fruition.
But don't you agree? Take the team out of it.
Yeah.
Take the logo out of it. Take the label out of it. The concept.
I'm with you.
The concept of, I got to get rid of a guy that we found in the farm system, that we drafted, that we developed, that, and now all of a sudden, this guy's got to go because there's going to be finances that it would be the equivalent. Look how stupid this would be in the NBA. How dumb would this be in the NBA?
Give it to me. Give it to me.
You got, it's like, all right, we're a couple years in. We just got to, Jalen Williams has got to go. We're going to have to trade Jalen Williams because we can't keep him. And I'm using a player that is through the Oklahoma City Thunder system, right? Give you another one. Victor Wembanyama. Guys,
small market.
He's reached his 4th year with the San Antonio Spurs. He's going to New York here, so we got to trade him because he's going to go in 2 years. So dumb.
Here's the difference. The franchises you referenced are good and well run.
Okay.
So there are well run organizations that have locked up young players to long-term deals.
But let the player decide whether, hey, this is the right place for me or not. As in,
he has.
No. Let me. Okay, let's use Skubal. Skubal's the right example then.
But he's in a walk year. You know what I mean?
But if I have a salary cap in baseball, okay, I can give an extra year to my player because he's my guy. I can incentivize him to stay in Detroit. By the way, Detroit's been in the playoffs. Detroit has a history. They've won World Series before, right? I can incentivize my player that I brought up through the system that has been incredibly successful. I can give him 6 years while another team can only give him 5. By the way, those other teams that want to give him 5, they're already at their stop. Like they don't have the finances to make it happen. My point is that just that concept of loan that you have to mention in a conversation. Well, Skenes could be gone by next year because you can go somewhere else. I know you're going to say, well, it's Pittsburgh, but the concept of that is like the exact reason why the system is broken.
And I do agree. I don't disagree, but I would say this. If Skenes was in San Diego with similar CBA situations playing out, there would still be mechanisms in place for the Padres to at least have a pathway to keep the player in uniform, is how I see it. Where Pittsburgh is very similar to San Diego. San Diego's been well run to some extent. Pittsburgh's been the opposite of it.
Right, but you're always going to have in sports the extreme of what's great and what's not, okay? If he's in Tampa, if he's in St. Louis, if he's in Atlanta, there's other markets you could look at and say, yeah, this guy, if he brought up through, and I think Detroit's a good example. If he's brought up through their system, he's going to stay there. A, he's incentivized to, and B, what if he actually wants to stay there? Now, if that player says this organization is awful, I don't want to be here, that's a different story. If Anthony Davis, when he was with the Pelicans, decided like, I'm going to get the hell out of here.
The rules in place suggest there's a lot of reasons for a team to move on from the asset to acquire other assets as opposed to risk it to free agency.
But you do that because there's such a financial...
Correct. It's different. That's the difference. I mean, there's a big difference. There, no doubt. Nobody's arguing there isn't a huge difference between the way the NBA operates and Major League Baseball. All right, on the other side, we're going to hear from Jeff Passan. He doubles down on his old takes about the Dodgers' advantages. You're going to hear from Jeff Passan on the other side here on Schaefer and Slee with San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network, presented by iHeartAdvertising.com. The Padres and Pirates are getting set for game 2 of their series tonight down at Petco Park. It's going to be Paul Skenes going for Pittsburgh and Michael King going for the Friars. First pitch tonight is at 6:40. NASCAR has announced that it is coming back to the Naval Base Coronado in 2027. The next year's event is slated for August 1st. And the Big Ten has passed a rule that stops players returning from the NFL from playing for one of its schools. Any player that is declared for the NFL draft and did not withdraw, has appeared on an NFL roster, or signed a contract with a pro league cannot be on a Big Ten roster, the league announced today in a statement. Run a business and not thinking about radio? Think again, because people are listening to radio more today than they did 20 years ago. And only iHeartRadio connects with more Americans than TV, digital, and even social. Learn how radio can help your business. Call 844-844-iHeart.
All right, Darnay Tripp, friend of the show, theoretically, will join us coming up at 4:30.
What roster were we just trying to...
We were breaking down the 0-1 Sixers, who lost to the Lakers in 5.
Yeah.
Of course, the most iconic moment from the losing side of it was Iverson stepping over Ty Lue in game 1. The only Laker loss that postseason, correct?
Yeah, that was only lost. They went 15-1, I think.
They won 3, 4, and 5 in Philly.
Here's where it came from. You pulled up a...
Well, hopefully my wife's not listening. But yeah, I recently purchased, although she's cool with it, I recently purchased Allen Iverson.
Okay. Show it in the camera there. Got a little AI action there.
AI.
And then we started just trying to name off all the players on that team.
We did. And we got to Eric Snow and Aaron McKee and Dikembe Mutombo, and we put him back up center. Was it Corey Geiger or something?
I think it was Corey.
And then we're like, was there a Lynch?
Was it Matt Geiger?
And then we're like, was there a Lynch on that team? But we forget his first name. And there's a couple of others. Once we see the roster, there's going to be some names that we recognize.
That's good work
from that year as well. Maybe more importantly is what Jeff Passan had to say about the Dodgers saga. I do think it is a saga. He had a long podcast on where things stand with the Dodgers and the indictment and everything surrounding it. Walk us into it.
Well, here's what I'll say too. I think there is a... Here's what I would say. I would say that I think Jeff Passan, every time he's talked about, it's one man's opinion. Every time I feel like he's talked about the Dodgers in the past, it's been this like, hey, why can't it? Why everyone can do this? And I think the reason
that was
why,
a big take, yes.
I think the reason why people get triggered with Jeff Passan, and he's not the only one. I think Ken Rosenthal you can put into this conversation. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that these guys don't do a phenomenal job and they don't have incredible insiders and everything else. They could break news, all that stuff. But they've triggered people because the conversation about the Dodgers, they have made it sound like everyone can do this. I mean, it's just,
completely agree.
Whether you want to do it, whether you want to do it or not.
They must not want to.
Yeah.
They must not want to.
You must have all these other owners that are saying to themselves, they're just going to all pocket the money. And I'm not telling you that there aren't owners in baseball that just don't care about winning. Of course, they're so to an extent, Passan could be, maybe if he's a little more specific, if he's like, hey, I can give you a franchise, I could comp this market and this franchise, and maybe they can't do it exactly like the Dodgers. However, they could get pretty close. I'm making up stuff. Well, I don't know. You want to say the Cubbies or the Red Sox or something like that? Maybe there are franchises. The truth is, I don't think anybody can because of their TV deal. And Passan for a long time, I think, has triggered other fan bases because you're making it sound like everyone can do this and they're choosing not to. So the conversation, Passan put out a podcast earlier today. And a few days ago, last week, he was on another podcast, I think a John Boy podcast that you had mentioned. He had basically said, like, if you want more answers on the Mark Walters stuff and everything going on, and if it's potentially has an effect with the Dodgers and everything else, his insurance companies and the tax fraud, that everything that he's alleged to be involved in right now, listen to my podcast on Tuesday.
Right.
Today's Tuesday's podcast came out. And I think Passan honestly is spending a lot of time kind of trying to defend himself.
He's like Dodger takes about their
some of the
desires to win one of the other teams. Real quick before we play, can I make this point as you've gone down this path, which is this whole, oh, well, if other teams had similar desires, maybe they would be in the same spot. I would argue the Padres went to an nth degree beyond the Dodgers to try to win under Peter Seidler without all of these built-in advantages.
Brother, with 1/10 of the muscle,
with 1/10 of the muscle,
and got
lifting a similar bar,
and got crucified for trying to do it.
But other teams can just have a similar desire like the Dodgers. But when other teams do try, like San Diego, oh, it's not sustainable. Sit down, little boy. Sit in your corner.
And I'll say this. I mean, from the Padres front, I could be critical about the Padres. I could tell you right now, I don't know if that was the smartest thing to do. I mean, they're going to have contracts for years to come where it's like, yeah, this thing is going to eventually catch up to the Padres. Hopefully it's in a couple of years because, you're hoping that some of these guys that they have on their roster will still be competing at the proper level for years to come. So this isn't just you just have this take because you're a fan of the San Diego Padres and you're in San Diego. Padres got no choice but to look at the Dodgers every single year and know that they're not going to win the NL West and know that it's going to be an incredible challenge every single season to compete with them. But for the first time, I think there's Jeff Passan at least starting to, I don't know if backtrack is the right way to put it, but hey, you know what? Maybe the Dodgers did have an unbelievable competitive advantage, and there could also be part of this investigation that they were doing things fraudulently.
Yeah,
we don't know that
part
yet,
of their advantage,
but that could be part of it.
Let's take a listen to what Passan had to say.
As the regional sports network industry collapsed in baseball and the Dodgers' advantage grew even more profound. And if I can be clear for a second, that's what it was. It was an advantage, a big advantage. And that's vital to all this. As much as other teams could, and you can argue should, be more aggressive in their pursuit of a championship, that does not mean that any team can be just like the Dodgers. I have never said that. I never would say that because it's not true. I have said that other teams should try and emulate the Dodgers' desire to win, and that plenty have greater ability to do so than they choose to in reality. And I'll stand by that contention all day.
Dude, I hate that last line, which I have here as well. I have said that other teams should try and emulate the Dodgers' desire to win, and that plenty have a greater ability to do so. I'll stand by that contention all day. That to me honestly bothers me.
It's too broad.
It's way too broad. And by the way, desires to win, like it's not just the San Diego part of it. Like the teams like Atlanta, like they are built to win.
Tampa Bay, Milwaukee runs a phenomenal organization.
Historically, like there's a zillion examples of teams that are trying to win at this clip. These advantages that the Dodgers have, unfortunately, are a bit of a kryptonite advantage. Now, it doesn't guarantee they win a World Series. We understand that dynamic, but it does guarantee this: they fall out of bed in the postseason every single year.
And it gives you, listen, like you said, it doesn't guarantee you that you're going to win. Yeah. The only thing I honestly care about right now, and yeah, I try. I mean, it is what it is. I'm too busy watching the Padres right now. I want to know if Arizona's winning, if Philly is struggling, where are the Cubbies, St. Louis might. There are a few teams that I care about, and it only has to tie with the San Diego Padres. But I think what Passan's article or what Passan's podcast today was one of the few times where I think it's bringing up these. Now, this is happening on like the business and financial side of things. It's probably happening less on the sports side of things. Somebody would be good to bring on at some point. Dylan Hernandez, who part of the California Post.
Okay, yeah.
He was LA Times for a while, California Post. And I think he's one that's, I think, a little more open for being critical. But all I want to know now is, did they do something illegal in the game of baseball? Did this empire that they've built, was it built legally, or are there some are there some true ties to using money through his other investments and his insurance? That's all I want to know from here. And it might take a while for that to, obviously happen. And obviously all this kind of started, this triggered, what was it? Probably a month ago or so when there's some kind of like reports out there that, this
Federal
potential
investigation.
federal investigation, they
Seizing
took his
laptops,
laptop and his cell phone.
sold the Lakers.
And then I think the bombshell was the Lakers. The bombshell was like, you don't just sell the Lakers 10 months after you bought them because you're trying to make a quick buck. Something must be going on. And I think, what people want to know now, how deep is that ripple effect? How far does it go? I've told you this before. Can we get into a world where, at least in the NL West, it's like not uncommon for other teams who also want to compete and win? I mean, the Giants are a historic franchise that won 3 World Series in 5 years. Of course, they want to compete. Now, they might not be doing it the right way, but can we get back to a world where the NL West is like, I don't know who's going to win this year?
See, I don't even care about the division. I could see that the Padres never win a division again in my lifetime and win 3 World Series. But I do care about not having a team break rules. The most surprising part of the Passan podcast for me is that his take was basically doubling down on previous opinions on the Dodgers as opposed to questioning the manner in which they've used these advantages. As in, is there any scrutiny? Shouldn't we be paying a closer attention to how did they acquire these advantages? And was it done legally or illegally? That's the much bigger question to me. How did they acquire the advantages? As opposed to, let me double down on this. There's other teams that should show a similar desire to win to the Dodgers, and I stand by that.
But some of it, there is some legal things in or to have that financial advantage. It is their TV deal, and it was, he goes into how much revenue share that they had based off when they bought it from Frank McCourt, when it was in bankruptcy. Like, there's other things, which is so idiotic of baseball. Like, I think at the end of the day, we'll find out what happens with Mark Walter. But at the end of the day, I'm much more frustrated with Major League Baseball than I am that franchise, because I think baseball makes the rules, and I think the rules are dumb. If I'm being
here's the thing, the rules might be dumb, and it might be even worse if they're doing things illegally beyond the advantages they already have within the confines of the CBA. Like, if you're going beyond the advantages you already have, is where you create arguably you're creating a huge scandal.
And it doesn't mean that they don't have a good farm system, that Andrew Freeman doesn't know what he's doing. Can't
win another World Series in the future.
That they ran well. It doesn't mean any of that. But for the love of God, like, how many advantages do you have to have?
Darnay Tripp at 4:30.
Yeah.
Joe Block, voice of the Pirates, will join us at 5 p.m. We'll get to the wrap at 4. Much more of your reaction to that reporting from Jeff Passan as well on the other side. Here on Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. We're live on the iHeartRadio app. Something big is coming on September 2nd. DraftKings Game Day arrives with massive deals, exclusive deals, and an all-day celebration built for sports fans. The countdown has begun. All roads lead to Game Day.
The DraftKings Sports app is now live in all 50 states. That means California, from Texas to Florida. Every fan is in on the excitement. One app, every sport, all 50 states. DraftKings Game Day is yours. Remember the date, September 2nd. DraftKings Game Day is the kickoff of a new season, a new era, and the biggest day in sports history. Get pumped. Get ready to celebrate. New DraftKings customers. Sign up with a code SD760. Spend $5 to get $200 in rewards within 21 days. That's code SD760.
In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click to claim, issued in non-withdrawable predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. Terms, dkng.co/predictions promo. Nationwide, based on sportsbook predictions and free-to-play sports contest availability. Varies by state.
All right, SDFC is back home at Snapdragon Stadium Saturday night when they take on LA Galaxy. Our coverage with Adrian and Darren begins at 7 p.m. on your home for SDFC San Diego Sports 760. You like the new hat? Rocking the new SDFC hat here.
So when did you get this hat that you're wearing right now?
I got the hat.
Did you get the match?
Is it blocking? Dang it. Headphones are blocking. I like
yeah,
that. I like the San Diego
Stand
FC.
with us, does it say? Or,
No, it just says San Diego FC.
San Diego FC. I like it.
When did I get it? I got it on Saturday.
At the match.
No, I got it at 18, the 18 Threads, the one in Mission Valley. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I got it there, but I didn't wear it. Just I had to get it. What's it called?
You wanted the brim fitted?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Time out. You bought the hat at 18 Threads.
Yep.
But then you wanted the brim a certain way.
Yeah, because I can't.
So you took it to Lids.
I'm not, 16 years old and have a flat. Like, what are we doing here?
You're not 16?
Yeah. Or in East County,
like
growing
rim
up. Rim up.
It's interesting. So you go to Lids and they'll do it professionally. Now, will they like freeze the brim, so to speak? Like it's held in place?
Yeah, they do it their way. I don't know. They got like a steamer thing, all that stuff. $5 to do
I'll
it.
do it for $4.
You'll do it for $4.
I'll do it for $4. You bring your hats to me. I'll do it for $4 for you.
I got a beef with Lids. We'll talk
We're
about
all
it
ears.
another time.
There goes the
Don't put freaking Charger hats in front of the store. Don't put a Charger hat in front of the store. They don't even they don't even write San Diego or Los Angeles on there. It just says Chargers.
Say this again, on the hat?
On the hat. Because they know they can't, people in San Diego.
Alan, let me explain something to you.
Go ahead. Explain it to me.
No, not that, but you're going to.
I want to hear it.
You've been to a grocery store before?
Yes.
And some of the food there is not healthy, correct?
Yes.
But people keep buying it, right? And they keep putting it in the aisles?
Yeah.
They ain't going to put it on display if no one's buying it. It's just a business.
I don't think, I think that's actually.
Get a Lids rep on.
No, I think they're in the middle of the NFL season, or they're about to start. So it's an NFL display. Don't get me wrong, brother. There's Niners and Raiders and everything else. All that other stuff is up there. I just don't need to see that there.
So
most San Diegans don't want to see that there.
See, that's interesting.
They don't want to see it there. I'm telling you, they don't.
You're telling me that that's on display and they're not selling them.
I think it's the closest tie you have to the NFL. So that's why you have it there.
Well, it is the closest tie we have to the NFL.
Yes, that's why you have it there.
Fair, unfair, love or hate.
I mean, they're going to be selling much more baseball caps all day long than they're going to be selling in the NFL.
It's the Tootsie Roll conversation. You've heard me. How many licks does it take? There are people in San Diego County. Yeah, there are a lot of people in San Diego County.
Not a lot. There's some that are going to support it. That's
how
fine.
How many people are in San Diego County?
4 million.
Okay.
3.5, 4 million, something like that.
10% of them remain supporters of the Chargers. That's a massive amount of people.
I'm going to go back to, okay, but that's not a good stat, because if you have 90% of people that don't want to see that there, that's different. If there's 90% of people that don't want to support that, that's different. My issue is like, there's also got to be a respect to our city as well. Like the fan base got demolished when these guys left. When the dumbass took his team up to LA,
dude, they have billboards.
there is a disrespect to our city in the process as well.
1,000%. But it's like, I mean, is there going to be there's billboards in Chula Vista
they
that
can sell them. They could do that, but it doesn't mean I don't have to say anything, because I think there's a lot of San Diegans that don't want to see that.
You're 100% right. There's a lot of people that.
So do I just walk in and pretend like everything's okay?
Well, no, but it's like also. I mean, it's just like a business, like they're just doing it out of their own interests, aren't they?
Where are you originally from?
Philadelphia.
What is the rival to Philadelphia?
New York, Dallas. In the NFL?
You walk into a Lid store,
they sell Giants stuff.
Yeah, but is everybody like, they might sell it, but you don't think there's going to be people within your city that are going to be like, why is this right here?
No, of course. Okay. I'm trying to think of another. It's a harder comp.
Listen, I get it's a business. I'm not saying that it's not a business. And at the end of the day, all these companies care about is what's in the best interest of business. I'm not saying that that's not the case. But I'm also from this city, and there's a pridefulness of that. So I'm not going to pretend like it's okay every time I see it.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I do think also, though, that of course, again, the vocal portion of everyone in the chat is going to tell me I hate the Chargers. Screw them. I'm glad they're gone. I've never watched a game.
But it's like the worst. It's literally the worst thing that's ever happened in the history of San Diego sports. And you want me to walk in and the first thing I see is that logo?
They put them on TV too, and people watch it. I mean, you can say, well, they watch it because they hate them. But the evidence suggests that people are watching it.
Listen. You put it on TV. I at least have the choice of whether I want to watch that or not. Right?
Well, you don't have to go in the store.
What if I want to go buy SDFC stuff, or I want to go buy Padres stuff, or I want to buy SD Way stuff, or I want to buy San Diego State stuff?
They can sell that too. Do they not? Does Lids not have San Diego State gear? Does Lids not have Padres gear?
They didn't have SDFC stuff, but I think that's a different.
Listen, I completely understand the vitriol of the organization.
Let me. I'll go back to the same thing I said.
You're just like
I want to go back to no. By the way, you're making good points. If people want to have it, and I see plenty of Dodger gear, I see plenty of Dodger gear in these places as well. And here's what I will say: if that stuff is going to be there, I can't control what they're doing in their business, but I can control how I feel and say something about it. And I guarantee you, I'm not the only person that's
you're using their services. You're going in there and you're getting your ribs bent for $5.
And that's what I noticed when I went in there.
So I'm saying you're voting with your pocketbook. That's like what they say.
And that's what I noticed when I went in there. And you know what happened the next day? I came in here to tell you about it, that I don't like that.
That's fine. You shouldn't like it. There's no reason to like it. I'm just making the point. And I do think sometimes we fail to consider this. I don't like it either. I wish they were still here. I wish they never left. I'm sure tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people have been enraged. The truth is, there's still people in San Diego County, whether you like it or not. They root for the Chargers, and their parents did, and their grandparents did, and they're not going to change their allegiance. I cannot control it.
But here's what I can control. Telling you that I don't like that, seeing it in the store. And I guarantee you, if you say 10%, there's 10% of people in San Diego that are still rooting for it. That means there's 90% who are not. There's a lot more people in the city of San Diego that despise that franchise because of that owner. And that for 50 years built this guy's net worth and don't have anything to show for it today.
I think that's fair.
Okay, then that's the only point. Like, again, I can't control what happens in these businesses, but I can at least give my thoughts and opinion on it.
I hate to be this guy. It's like they moved in 2017. Like the Clippers moved. People got out with it. They sell Clippers hats. It's
not a good example.
It's not good. Okay.
Not a good
example. About 4 years in the NBA compared to 50 years
here.
I get it.
Like that was a real 50 years here.
It's a lot of years.
The Clippers don't even like that. There shouldn't even be a conversation at all about the Clippers. They were here for 3 seconds and they left.
Right.
That's not your growing up generations watching a team.
But that's kind of my point. I think when you have generations of viewers, it's hard to just be like, well, they left, therefore you can no longer be a fan ever again. Go root for the Vikings.
Anyone can do whatever they want. But I will tell you, most San Diegans feel the same way that I feel. But anyone can do whatever they want.
I think, but the key word is most, not all. The key word is most.
Yeah.
The Wrap on the other side, Schaefer and Sliwa.
Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network, presented by iHeartAdvertising.com. Padres and Pirates are getting set for game 2 of their series tonight down at Petco. It's going to be Paul Skenes going for Pittsburgh and Michael King going for the Friars. First pitch is at 6:40. And today, NASCAR announced that it will be returning to San Diego and the Naval Base Coronado in 2027. Next year's event is slated for August 1st. And the Big Ten has passed a rule that stops players returning from the NFL from playing for one of its schools. Any player who has declared for the NFL draft and did not withdraw, has appeared on an NFL roster, or has been signed to a contract with a pro league cannot be on a Big Ten roster, the league announced today in a statement. Run a business and not thinking about radio? Think again, because people are listening to radio more today than they did 20 years ago. And only iHeartRadio connects with more Americans than TV, digital, even social. Learn how radio can help your business. Call 844-844-iHeart.
All right, San Diego, Southern California, hour 2, Schaefer and Sliwa. We've got Darnay Tripp joining us at 4:30 from NBC7. Joe Block, radio voice of the Pirates, at 5 p.m. Allen returned his hat at the break. I'm kidding.
He straightened his bill back out.
This hat is badass.
It is a very nice hat. I agree.
Lids
I would wear that hat right now.
Lids is a great place. I question some of their business decisions.
I don't know if they'll be doing the Lids, 5 o'clock hour.
I'm not. We can have an opinion on things. It's okay.
100%.
And
I completely
I've said
respect
this.
your
My
opinion.
favorite grocery store is Sprouts. Right? I've said this before to you.
Yeah. What are you saying?
Remember when I told you when I went to go buy the peanuts? I love peanuts.
Oh, they like Dodger peanuts.
There's Padres peanuts,
but they're selling the Dodger logo.
They had the Angels there as well.
I know you despise that stuff.
By the way, you go put a Padres one up in LA. I'm good. As long as we have those up there as well, I got no issue with it.
True. I do always take the mental note of like what is being sold where.
Remember when I was in Charleston, or I think where was it, North Carolina, South Carolina? I sent you the video. They had like 8 teams. Do you remember that? I sent you the video.
Did they have Padres?
No. I was all the way on the other side.
Yeah.
It was like they had the Braves,
right.
They had the White
Yankees,
Sox, the Cubbies were there, all these
Diego?
other teams. No, not San Diego. I mean, it's too far. It's the other side of the country.
It's true.
We're not gonna have them out there.
It is. It's a good point. But anyway, I get it.
We have to.
I respect it.
Listen, we gotta be honest, and we got to give our opinion and our thoughts and our feelings. And I'm not telling you that it's everyone's going to agree. They don't have to agree.
I think a lot of people agree with you. All right. So Darnay Tripp is going to join us coming up at 4:30 at 5 p.m. Joe Block, radio announcer for the Pittsburgh Pirates. We do have a giveaway today, by the way. We've got a 4-pack of tickets to see the San Diego Wave that's coming up Friday night at Snapdragon Stadium. We'll tell you how to win those tickets coming up. But right now, let's get to this.
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
A lot to pick from. What was the most frustrating part of last night's loss?
For me, these comments are pretty funny. For me, this was it was simple. It was an easy one. Most frustrating part was just Jackson Merrill's at bat. And, a chance, like we talked about, if you're watching that game, you just watch Manny Machado walk. Tatis is already on base as well, the ghost runner. Then you watch Ty France walk, maybe on a 3-2 pitch, something like that. But basically, the guy can't throw a strike, and Jackson Merrill comes up with 1 out, and they got the perfect runner at third. Almost whatever you do, if you put this ball in play, Tatis can make some magic happen and go from there. And what does he do? He swings at the first 3 pitches he sees, and none of them are in the strike zone. Not even close to the strike zone. For me, that was the most frustrating part. I think you could take L's and it's all good. But when you're that close to winning and you got a player like Jackson Merrill, you don't have to swing at everything. Be a little bit more strategic. Don't try to play some hero ball. I thought He hurt San Diego in that situation.
Yeah, I thought he felt the magnitude of having his bobblehead night. It's like, I'm going to be the guy on my night. It's my birthday, my presents, right? It's all about me. And you can't get in that spot or mode in a baseball game. He didn't have to do anything, by the way. I think if he doesn't swing the bat, they win. I honestly believe that. I think if he doesn't swing, they win. Because he wasn't throwing strikes. And the 3 pitches he swung at weren't within a foot of the strike zone. So he tried to do too much, got cute. They ended up losing the game, and it was very costly. That was the most frustrating part of last night's loss. Next question.
Do you think the Paul Skenes hype is over?
No, I don't think it's over. I think, listen, a lot of great pitchers are going to go through moments where they're not as great as they typically are. I want to say, I think Paul Skenes is going through it, and I hope he goes through it for one more start. I don't care what he does after tonight, but he's got too good of stuff. He's too electric. He's too young. He's got so much left in his career. I think he's just going through a tough time. Pittsburgh's got nothing to play for. I'm sure that's not the most motivating franchise to be on. So I think with that being said, I think Skenes will eventually get his stuff back. I just hope it starts August 26th.
I mean, the hype, dude, was so big, especially for a player outside of a big market or a successful franchise. I think Livy Dunn had something to do with it, but truthfully, I think the proof is in the pudding. Sub-2 ERA for his first 2 years in the major leagues. I mean, listen, when he ends up with the Yankees, when he ends up with the Red Sox, when he ends up with the Dodgers, I hate to put it that bluntly, the hype will be right back. If and when that happens, it'll be some massive,
but it can't happen.
Massive hype.
It can't happen.
It can't happen, or you don't want it to happen.
No, it can't happen.
Like you're speaking that into his existence.
Well, then it gets salary cap stuff.
Yeah, I hate to say it.
It has to. We got to get through the.
I know. No. If Paul Skenes spends his career in Pittsburgh or signs a free agent deal with the Pirates, it'll be one of the more shocking recent stories.
I don't disagree with that, but I'll use Skenes as an example. I think if we get the sport into a healthy position, it'd be awesome if he had 5 different teams to choose from, and it was like, hey, Atlanta's in play.
Yeah,
I'm just hear me out here. Like Atlanta's in play. You named it. Baltimore is making a run. Just have some squads in there that you feel like, all right, you got a number of teams that have the ability to do so.
I agree with that.
I wouldn't rule him out him staying either. If they keep improving, you have to remember a month ago they were only 3.5 games out of the last wild card spot with all those young players. So they're close to hitting with a lot of their prospects.
You know the problem, Brett, with that is I don't know if he's going to get like the ability to play that to fruition. If the system stays as it is, most teams would say, hey, I got 2 years left of control. This is when I'm going to get the most. Sure. So I'm with you. Like I think it would be really cool to see Pittsburgh in a postseason race. I don't know if that's
Pittsburgh. I don't think they've ever spent. What's their largest free agent contract they've ever given out? Going into this year, it was like $30 million, no joke, in the history of the franchise. Let's say now it's up to 50 or 75 million. They'll have the richest deal in the history of baseball for a pitcher, right? I mean, everyone would agree with that. So what is that number, 500? They've never spent 50.
So this is
500.
By the way, they are the perfect franchise when people say you got to get a floor in there.
Yeah.
And I don't pay attention as much to the floor, but I think Pittsburgh's a good example of like somebody could be making a case saying, hey, you want a cap in baseball, you better also have a floor.
Look at this up. The biggest free agent contract in Pirates history, 3 years, $39 million. Think about that. That's why I say they're poorly run. That's not because they don't have money. They're poorly run. 3 years, $39 million is the largest deal in the history of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
That's sad.
It's sad. It's
that is really, really sad.
And that's why floor does matter.
Well, that's now you could sell me on that argument too.
It's great. Now they've extended players. They've like the Connor Griffin, a top pick. They've extended guys out.
But just let's work within means here. That's all I'm saying. Let's just have a little bit more balance here in the game.
I agree. Next question.
Is the Big Ten making the right decision by barring NFL players from returning to college?
Okay, let me ask you this. Let's say the Big Ten says you're a pro player, you can't come back to college.
Okay.
So the Big Ten is determining that just for the Big Ten? Does the Big Ten not want to wait a second and say,
the SEC does, the ACC?
What if the SEC is okay with it?
Right.
What if the SEC says no, the Big Ten says no, and the ACC is like, hey, this is our opportunity.
That's a good point.
What if the Pac-12 was like, guys,
Come on.
if we want to
He
make
plays
a
for the
name,
Packers?
if we want to make a name for ourselves, let's get that 6-year vet from Jacksonville.
Seattle. It's hilarious.
I guess my point I'm trying to make is the Big Ten could put their foot down, but the only thing I'd be cautious about, obviously it's absurd. You're a pro and then you come back to college. The only thing I just don't trust any of these conferences, especially the SEC and their hunger-driven, money, winning, all that stuff, corrupt, whatever you want to call it. What if the SEC is like, well, that's your rule, that's not our rule? Are you sure the Big Ten wants to put their foot down without knowing the other conferences are going to follow?
I just feel as if certain things in life don't need to be legislated. We all know from the time we're 7, you go from college to the real world. You don't go from the real world to college. It shouldn't be litigated. You go from college to the professional ranks. You don't go from the professional ranks to college. It just doesn't make any sense. There should be a commissioner, by the way, of football, college football. So it should be applicable to all of the leagues. The fact that the Big Ten says it, but the SEC may not, no one should be playing in the NFL and coming back to college. I think it's pretty straightforward. Next question.
Do you expect the Padres payroll to go up or down?
Man, there's so many ifs just kind of coming up. Let me play out a scenario for you.
Do it.
Okay.
Do it.
What if their payroll went down, but they found a way again? I don't know how this happens, but they found a way to get rid of Xander's contract. Like, are you now looking at them and saying like, well, that's BS that their payroll went down? No, I think something Jose Feliciano said yesterday that I thought was interesting. He kind of said something to the extent it's like they're going to try to be intelligent too. I've said this about Preller. I've said just don't be reckless. You don't have to sell me on the payroll's only going up. And because the payroll's going up, that's how you're going to win. I don't think that's the only path to win. And I don't think that necessarily means the same thing for the Padres. So I actually think it will probably go up, not significantly, but I think it will go up. And I don't look at the payroll as this is the only determining factor of whether the Padres are improving or they're not.
I would agree. The Xander part is interesting because they're paying that money either way. So that shouldn't really impact their payroll. It's just they're not going to have them. I would guess if all things were equal and we have a normal 2027 season, I think the payroll goes up slightly. I don't think it goes drastically up. My guess is it does go up, though. All right. Darnay Tripp will join us coming up at 4:30. Joe Block, radio announcer for the Pittsburgh Pirates, on the show at 5 p.m. as the Padres get ready for Paul Skenes tonight in Game 2 of this 3-game series. This is Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. We're live on the iHeartRadio app. Something big is coming on September 2nd. DraftKings Game Day arrives with massive deals, exclusive deals, and an all-day celebration built for sports fans. The countdown has begun. All roads lead to game day.
The DraftKings Sports app is now live in all 50 states. That means California from Texas to Florida. Every fan is in on the excitement. One app, every sport, all 50 states. DraftKings Game Day is yours. Remember the date, September 2nd. DraftKings Game Day is the kickoff of a new season, a new era, and the biggest day in sports history. Get pumped. Get ready to celebrate. New DraftKings customers. Sign up with the code SD760. Spend $5 to get $200 in rewards within 21 days. That's code SD760.
In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click-to-claim, issued in non-withdrawable predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. Terms, dkng.co/predictions promo, nationwide, based on sportsbook predictions and free-to-play sports contest availability, varies by state. Here we go again. Schaefer and Slew with San Diego Sports 760. Darnay Tripp is going to join us coming up in about 10 minutes. You know, here's the amazing thing about Alan. He got here very early today. He sent me a video, Brent, at 1:27 in the afternoon. And the video was of the clock and then my seat. The clock and then my seat.
Did you like my zoom in?
He zoomed in like 3 times. It was
so bad. No, but it was so bad. People are so good with social of like zoom in and zoom out. So I tried to do that.
Instagram and this, that, and the other. Yeah. But anyway, here you are.
Our iHeart Radio Music Festival is back. Live performances by the Goo Goo Dolls, Kenny Chesney, Lainey Wilson, Snoop Dogg, Weezer, and more. September 18th and 19th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. 2 nights, 1 stage. While the world is listening on iHeartRadio, you could be there. 3 chances every weekday for you to win your trip for 2, plus $1,000 spending money. Next chance to win, to text and win, happens around 5 p.m. on San Diego Sports 760.
All right. Have we seen a Padres lineup as of yet? I'm curious on Manny Machado. And it is a little late. We'll get to that one second. The reason I bring it up, like, are the Padres waiting on something? Normally a lineup would be out by now. And they have a lineup out. All right. So Machado's hitting third. So Machado, as expected, Manny Machado is in the lineup here tonight. What did we get sent in the mail today?
So you have a thing going on.
Picking up my sports cards.
Is what it is. You're using, I think you got something from IKEA and IKEA as well.
I went to IKEA this weekend.
I think you got Amazon groceries out there as well. I think you got like produce and meat that's all coming to our mail here.
Can I make a too soon joke about IKEA? I went over there. I'm like, change the blue and yellow. Not here. I told him to change it to brown and gold. It's not really. It doesn't really match the charger look. But yeah, what we sent to us here today.
I'm with you. I'll go paint it for them.
Yeah.
So you came back and you're like, hey, we got it, man. We finally got it. Somebody want to explain to us why West Virginia,
their football program
is sending a sports radio station in San Diego, California.
It's far away from West Virginia.
The 2026 West Virginia football program, which includes all the players and the coaches and the advertisers and the vision and everything else.
And we were talking about it.
It's very nice.
Is it? And by the way, the postage, and we got 2 of them. The postage is $6 per. And I'm thinking they must have sent these out to thousands of different stations. If we got them,
we've gotten them from them before.
Yeah,
because I have one at my house somewhere.
Well, Alan, do you know this? Here, you know how I'm a very credible Heisman Trophy voter. You know that, right?
You're a Heisman Trophy voter?
It all happened through DM. I got a DM like, "Are you a Heisman voter?" I thought it was like fake. I'm like, "No." They're like, "Do you want to vote?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Hell yeah!
So I voted the last 2 years. I voted for Ashton Genty. 2 years ago, he finished second. Who won the Heisman last year? Mendoza. I voted for.
Oh yeah, Mendoza.
I voted for him. Bro, I was going to vote for the winner of Say and Mendoza in the Big Ten title game.
That's badass.
But anyway, because I'm a Heisman voter, they got my address or the station address, and I started getting stuff from the candidates. And I was getting like candy hearts from Notre Dame for Jordan Love. Not Jordan Love. What's the kid's name? Jeremiah Love. 4th overall pick, I think.
So they're trying to like,
win you
buy
over.
you a little
Isn't that
bit.
interesting? Like, but what's West Virginia trying to do? Guess to talk about him?
What's the angle here from West Virginia?
I'm not sure. I have no idea.
I mean, we appreciate them sending this.
Do we?
They got a lot of pub out here today in San Diego. They're probably their marketing team's like,
cut this up. Find that video. We're putting it on our social feeds.
Everyone's talking Mountaineers. Just complaining about his city, and then he's.
By the way, real quick, Brent. Tomorrow, Tano Latuli, San Diegan, captain linebacker for the Aztecs, is scheduled to join us. Listen to this stat. Tano Latuli, who is a 3-time captain now with San Diego State, who played here locally, went to Army and transferred back, 3-time captain with the Aztecs, is the first 3-time captain of the Aztecs since Kevin O'Connell, the Vikings head coach. The last 3-time captain at San Diego State, you'd have to go back 20 years.
Phenomenal.
To Kevin O'Connell. So Tano Latuli will join us from the Aztecs tomorrow afternoon. What do you got, Brent?
I just want to say maybe it's just a Virginia thing because I'm not
Virginia.
Yeah, I'm not a play-by-play voice of anybody, and Virginia sent me a media guide like 2 or 3 years ago, just out of the blue.
All right.
Can I let you know this, Alan? This is kind of a weird admission.
Yeah.
I love the smell of new like books or media guides.
I get it.
Do you? Like, there's something about it. I love it.
I don't love it, but I notice it.
Yeah, I'm like,
there's a little bit of like, oh, hey, this is new.
It's exactly.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Want
to go to a game?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
I do not either. We are, by the way, what's today? Tuesday? We're 11 days out from the Aztecs opener against Portland State. 11. And by the way, we are 4 days out from week 0.
4 days out
First
from week
college
0.
football game.
What's the first one? You said there was a handful of them, but wasn't there like a premier game?
I'm into, is it Virginia, North Carolina? Brent, look up that schedule. SC's playing San Jose State at the Coliseum.
Okay.
Stanford's playing Hawaii in Northern California. So, I mean, there's not a ton of games. San Diego State last year played week 0.
By the way, I'm okay with you. I throw that bad boy on the background.
Right? It's football.
Let's see. We got North Carolina and TCU are playing in Dublin, Ireland.
Right.
Because you know
Nothing
when
says
you think
Dublin,
Ireland, you think Tar Heels. San Jose State is playing at USC. You can hear that game actually right here on San Diego Sports 760 that morning.
Oh well.
We got NC State at Virginia. Let's see, Hawaii at Stanford, New Mexico State at Florida State, and then some other smaller ones.
Okay. I'll be watching.
John will be all over Jacksonville State
I know
and North
you will
Dakota
be.
State.
Yeah. Do me a favor when all that's kind of like going on. Don't text me.
Don't
text me about it. Text me Padres
will.
all day.
I'm going to say, I hope you're sitting. And
STFC game. I hope you're sitting.
New Mexico State fumbled on their first possession. That's what you're going to get from
you
me.
Fire the coach?
Yeah, that's it. Now, are you, here's a serious question.
Yeah, what do you got?
I have a dead serious question.
Serious.
With everything that played out locally,
okay.
Used to be an NFL team here. Do you watch the NFL in any capacity? It's just Sunday night football. It's Patriots, Chiefs.
I do, but there's no like. First off, I like watching football.
I'm the same way.
Like the game of football is wildly enjoyable.
Yep.
And there's certain franchises or coaches that you get accustomed to watching, and you're like, hey, stylistically, I like what they do here. The schemes, all that stuff. I do. So I enjoy football, but it will never be the same. Unfortunately, you used to build weekends around your squad. I don't got that anymore.
Yeah, it's like, this game's at Sunday at 5.
Used to, the NFL draft used to be a really big deal. It used to be really fun. Even back in the days, when I was at the Mighty 1090, like a lot of the events we used to do, a lot of them were geared towards the NFL games. So now it's more about like, I need like a good matchup that I'm going to watch. I'm not going to watch any game. I find the NFC West fascinating. I love those like Niners, Seahawks, like games Rams, like that.
Niners.
Yeah, like they're competitive games. There's good storylines, but I'll go back a little bit. Buffalo's on, Baltimore's on, KC's on. Like there's certain squads that I enjoy watching, but there's just it's never going to have
never going to be the same.
Never be the same.
Darnay Tripp, NBC 7 on the other side. By the way, the SEC now joining the Big Ten. They will not allow former professional football players to play in the SEC.
Pac-12 should be like, hey, we're all in.
They really should.
Open our doors.
But what about Ole Miss?
Yeah, other than Ole Miss.
Other than Ole Miss.
Actually, probably. All right, Darnay Tripp, NBC 7 coming up next on Schaefer and Sliwa. Stay with us.
Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network, presented by iHeartAdvertising.com. Padres and Pirates are getting set for game 2 of their series down at Petco Park. It's going to be Paul Skenes going for Pittsburgh and Michael King on the hill for the Padres. First pitch tonight is at 6:40. Today, NASCAR announced that it will be returning to San Diego next year and the Naval Base Coronado. Next year's event is slated for August 1st. And the Big Ten has passed a rule that stops players returning from the NFL from playing for one of its schools. Any player has declared for the NFL draft and did not withdraw or appeared on an NFL roster or signed a contract with the Pro League cannot be on a Big Ten roster, the league announced today in a statement. Run a business and not thinking about radio? Think again, because people are listening to radio more today than they did 20 years ago. And only iHeartRadio connects with more Americans than TV, digital, and even social. Learn how radio can help your business. Call 844-844-iHeart.
All right, always great to connect with Darnay Tripp, NBC7 Sports Night in San Diego on Sunday evenings as well. Back with us on Schaefer and Sliwa. San Diego Sports 760. We saw Darnay yesterday at the press conference. He kind of blew us off.
Oh, man.
But agreed to come on the show as a result of that.
You waved like 2 or 3 times.
I was like, Darnay.
Yep.
He's like, oh, hey. Anyway, Darnay, it was good to see you yesterday. Well, actually, Alan has okay, because Alan said earlier, didn't you say on air that Darnay's having twins before Darnay had told his family? And I'm like, well, I of course defended myself, but Alan's like, I bet Darnay has a different story.
Darnay, can I hear your version of the story?
Because
John like puts up his hands like, oh, nothing happened over here. You know, I was an innocent bystander. So what can you tell us your perspective here? Oh, well. Sure.
Yeah. I won't do it again, though.
Darnay, that cleans it up a lot, because I think what was happening was, you know, your relationship with John, it's kind of like you don't have to say anything is what you're saying, right? Like, clearly he's coming to you, somebody that you guys are that close of friends where you don't need to explain everything.
I might have misread.
And John basically took your text and was like, I'm going to throw this up on Instagram.
I almost wanted to go back in my conversations with Darnay to see if I could find the thread, but I don't think I can go back that far. All right. You please send it to me and I'll show Alan. No, I don't even remember. I wasn't intentionally trying to break that news.
That was so important to get, it's so important to get both sides of the story, because now I look at this completely different.
Yes. All right. What was your reaction to the pomp and circumstance yesterday? We can get to the Padres as well and how they're playing, and tonight facing Paul Skenes. But I mean, it was unique, wasn't it? Wouldn't you say that yesterday's press conference was kind of unique for an ownership unveiling? That's right.
I think maybe a little bit more personality, a little bit more candid, than you're typically used to seeing from somebody in kind of that ownership position where it is a bit kind of withdrawn, and they might not be comfortable, showing their personality in the way that they did, and certainly in the way that Kwanzaa did. So I think just like the energy, the enthusiasm, and, while they do seem, different in how they're wired, they do seem very much in sync with one another, as you'd expect, a couple that's been together for a little while now, and has, had various kind of business ventures. It's interesting hearing kind of their aligned vision, even if they kind of communicated it, in their own way. But it did come across as very genuine. And I think the big thing for me is like, look, owners are always going to say the right thing. But I think it was delivered well enough that, you kind of do believe like they are competitive. They want to win. They want to do something special here, and they want to make a really positive impact on the community. I think how often they mentioned the Baja community, I think that was one that jumped out because, we've seen, or heard, passing mentions of that from the Padres in different contexts, but they really hammer that home. And so it'll be interesting to see how they, engage with that part of the region as well. But I think largely positive. And I think at the very least, you're like, okay, this is going to be different, and this is going to be fun, and excited to kind of see where it leads.
Darnay, anything missing from the presser? Was there? And I think this is kind of tough because, we hadn't really got any information. I mean, I don't even know if I had heard the voice of either one of them before yesterday.
True.
But was there something you were hoping to hear? Was there something that you felt like, oh, I wish I could have? This kind of happens a lot in the industry. It's like when it's all over, it's like, I wish I could have asked this or that. I wish this came up. Anything stand out from that perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think they expressed their commitment and their desire to invest in the community enough that, like, I did think one of the token questions was kind of commitment to San Diego. Like, that might be worth asking. But as it went on, I felt like they had sort of said enough to make it clear that they're invested in San Diego, because that's always going to be kind of a point of anxiety. And so I didn't feel like that was necessary to ask. I do think, there is going to be the nitty gritty of the roster that eventually comes up. But there's also going to be the CBA, and, Jose as a control person, and I would assume Kwanzaa as well. Like, they're going to have some part in all this, and maybe it's maybe not the right time, but as time goes on and we get closer to December, and maybe it's towards the end of the season, hopefully we have more opportunities to speak with them, because we have not had opportunities to speak with John Seidler. Peter Seidler was far more available, and I'm hoping that will be the case with Jose and Kwanzaa. But I think that will be the question as we get towards the end of the year, is like, what's your view on this? You're thrown into this situation, or throw yourself really into this situation right before this kind of crucial part of, the baseball calendar, and you're an owner, and owners can be at odds with players. And so it's just kind of an awkward thing to kind of jump into, and just their viewpoint on that. And also like how they see their voice within that, as newcomers to Major League Baseball, who, obviously aren't as familiar with this sort of thing as, the Steve Cohens of the world, or even Peter Seidler was, back in 2022. I guess it was going into 23. So that'll be interesting to me as well, just how they view that, their voice therein, and kind of, what their role looks like once that period rolls around, when, the owners are kind of at odds with the players.
Darnay Tripp, NBC7, with us right now on Schaefer and Sliwa. Let's switch to on-field, where the Padres, I guess, wasted an opportunity. We know they played well, but they did not play well last night in an effort to win that game against Pittsburgh. As you see things right now, are you thinking more about tracking down teams like the Phillies and the Cubs from a Padres perspective, or are you thinking more about holding off a team like Arizona?
I think holding off. Yeah, I would say holding off Arizona more so than, ending up in, because I mean, if the likelihood of them ending up in that 5th or 6th spot seems pretty high if they make the playoffs. If they continue the pace they're on, maybe they can rise up to number 4 the way they did in 2024 and host the series, which would be incredible. Do I have that? Yeah, they would host the 4 or 5.
Yep.
And so that would be incredible. But I think, my mind is more so on, let's just make sure we can get some distance between them and the D-backs. And that's what made last night frustrating. The Phillies piece, sure, that'd be cool. You'd be 1 game behind them. But for me, 3 up on Arizona is a lot more exciting. And just to kind of get in, and we've seen this team in this era of Padres baseball go on the road and win a wild card series. I think, I don't think anybody wants to go to Philly, given the history there. I think, is there a chance that you go to Atlanta the way it's shaken out? That's a possibility. I think you feel more comfortable against them. I think Chicago, there's going to be a little bit of fear there, but also if things were a little bit different, maybe you win that series and you go in Chicago with a little bit more confidence. But I don't know, other than avoiding Philly, if there's, a matchup that really scares me much more than any. I think you just want to get in and secure the spot. And so I think missing out on a chance to distance yourself a little bit from an Arizona team that seems to be kind of teetering a little bit is what made it a disappointment.
Yeah, it was a tough pill to swallow yesterday. One of the bright spots, Adrian Morejon again goes another 2 innings for the Padres. And, Darnay, just can you talk from your perspective just how important he's been for the Padres this year? And a lot of times I think he kind of gets lost in the shuffle because of Mason Miller and how great he is, or we're talking about all these Tatis moments, of course, more as of late. Do you feel like Morejon is getting the proper love that he should? And whether you think he does or he doesn't, but just talk about his season and just how unbelievable he's been. I think one of the more absolute superstars for the Padres this year.
Yeah, he's been awesome. And, didn't have, a lights out start to the year either. And I think, really encouraging to see the way that he's kind of bared down and, become sort of the best version of himself and maybe the best version of a left-handed reliever in all of Major League Baseball. And you're right. If Mason Miller does not exist on this roster, how much more publicity is Adrian Morejon getting? Obviously, the contract talk is going to be there regardless with him being a free agent, but how much more would that be a topic if he was their 9th inning guy and he was their best, late game reliever? But he's been sensational. I think, again, the fact that he's a lefty is such an ace in the hole. And I think we all kind of talked about it, when the trade deadline came around. I know AJ Cassavell wrote about it. You probably want that guy when you could face Schwarber and Freeman and Ohtani, these kind of powerhouse left-handed bats. If you don't do that with Adrian Morejon, you significantly lower your opportunities to win postseason games. And so he just gives you so much confidence, and then kind of being that bridge to Mason Miller, who's having as dominant a season for a closer as there's maybe been in Major League Baseball history. So it's awesome. I love it for Adrian, and just the fact that he's had kind of the road that he's had from being part of that 2016 class and kind of waiting for it to kind of come along, and struggles in trying to kind of become a starter, and they find this role for him as a reliever. And, he doesn't just find his footing. He's now one of the elite relievers in the game. And with him doing it from the left side, so dangerous, so unique, and such a fun combination with Mason Miller. It's been really fun.
Are you guys expecting to have more children? I'm kidding. Darnay, thank you.
There's no news for you to share today, John, or any time in the future. So I'll be sure to not tell you when that's the case.
All right. Well, let me know if there actually is a child born related to you.
If you ever need to break anything in regards to the family, John is always
I've got
ready.
social media platforms available. Darnay, I
I'm going
appreciate you.
I'm going to start planting fake news and see what leaks, and then I'll know.
I like that. Thanks, dude. Seriously, for doing it.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Darnay Tripp. A great voice of the Padres and San Diego sports from NBC7. All right, full reaction. Staples Joe Block, radio broadcaster for the Pirates at 5 p.m. here on Schaefer and Sliwa.
All right, teachers make a difference each and every day. Now's your chance to say thank you. iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by donors. Choose, nominate an outstanding public school teacher who goes above and beyond for students. They could be one of our $5,000 winners for classroom supplies and resources. Teachers give so much. Now it's our turn to give back. Nominate a teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
All right, so go back to yesterday for a second. The unveiling of the new ownership group.
Yeah.
How close were you, and seriously, to asking a question? There was something that I thought should have been asked, and I was never going to ask it because I do not like speaking in those settings.
I had a couple questions listed down. It didn't take too long for both of those questions
To be asked.
which is fine. But then it was just more like, I thought the Baja references were interesting. So I was, eventually that did get asked. You could say was maybe close, not that close,
Not that close.
But there was also a little bit, if I'm being just genuinely honest here, I think you had most of the people that asked a question have been probably covering the Padres for a long time. There was a little bit of like, all right, let that kind of happen, but more so that I felt like the questions that I had in mind were answered.
I thought the biggest unasked question for
Yeah? What do you
me
got?
is like, is this purchase a futures play on what the sport's going to look like with the next CBA?
Mhm.
If you're betting on the next CBA, how does it differ from this one? Because that's a huge unknown for a big investment. So you have to have some knowns about what's to come, I would think.
Would you
At least a
agree?
clue.
Would you agree that the benefit to an ownership group would be they're thinking that there is a cap,
Yes.
or the structure of
Yes.
Major League Baseball, you're not going to have 13-year deals
Yes.
anymore. 15.
Yes.
I agree.
I think
I
I
agree.
think what the $3.9 billion sale represents is it's prosperous to be in this business, and B, some amount of cost control could be coming down the pipeline that's going to make this investment look even better.
Could I also throw another piece that you and I kind of talked a little
Yeah.
bit about this off air? If there's a group to kind of try to figure out how can we get a TV deal locally?
There's another one.
I think there's an incredible opportunity that there isn't a TV deal already established.
It's like another regional sports network, you're saying?
I'm talking about something specific to, by the way, it doesn't have to be like it's been in the past
Right.
where it's this. I mean, I know at one point, what was there, Fox Sports San Diego, something along
and then
those
Valley
lines.
Sports San Diego.
But
Yeah.
something like that, brother, there's nothing like that exists right now. I'm watching
Not
MLB games and 80% of the ads aren't even local.
I know.
So I say that because
Yeah.
I wonder if there's an opportunity there. You and I have talked about this. I'm not telling you that this is going to happen, but just imagine this.
Mm-hmm.
What if there was a regional sports channel in San Diego that's carrying San Diego State ancillary programming, SDFC ancillary programming,
Right.
carrying the Padres? Like I think and I don't know if today's world it's going to allow opportunities like that, but I don't think that. I feel like it's very doable. But are they also is that part of the calculation? Wait and see.
On one hand, what you've been led to believe, if you've been following the trades, which a lot of people haven't, is that you hear this, regional sports networks are dying. But then you see what's played out in LA, whether it's dying or not, they're getting $335 million per year from their TV contract. So on one hand, regional sports networks are dying. And why do people say that? It's ceased to exist in Phoenix. It ceased to exist in San Diego.
Well, Bally's was the one that kind of that's the one
Yeah,
that
it started you're saying the downward slide.
because it was how many markets just went out.
Yeah, a lot.
So I think that, and listen, I don't think you have to make a comparison to one of the largest markets in the country. I think you have to ask the question: is San Diego being served properly in San Diego? And I would say the answer is no.
Right.
I mean, hell, even if there's a channel that's carrying, some of the sports shows that are going on, like there's content to be consumed,
Distributed. Yeah, exactly. And distributed. Yeah.
right, and distributed.
Yeah.
But here's another thing that could happen, and we don't know if this is going to happen. What's happened a lot in sports today is, yes, you have regional channels, but
Yep.
you also have MLS is exclusively on Apple.
Yep.
So you just took SDFC out of the mix from can I carry a broadcast live locally?
Yeah.
No, you can't. That's the answer. Right. So I don't know if it's also going to that. Are we going to go to that world
model
where it's like Amazon will have MLB? I'm making things up, right?
But it's not going to be on ESPN.
I'm making things up, but what my point is that maybe those days are just long gone.
Potentially, yeah.
The other question that I thought of this yesterday. Actually, while I was watching the Padres game and watching them not get a run if their life depended on it. I thought would have been an interesting question was the success that the Padres have had over these last 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel some pressure? Because this is, you can make a case this is the most popular that the franchise has ever been. You can make that case also even 98, 84. Now, I can make a case this is the most popular the San Diego Padres. They're buying at the high. Like, I think that's what we talked a little bit about yesterday. Is there some added pressure that everyone's expectations now, if you were buying at the bottom, it was like whatever you did, people will look at it and they would say, hey, it looks better than it did before. That's not the case right now. The case now, it's like you're buying at a time where they've very accustomed to the fan base making the playoffs. And what type of pressure that brings as well.
It'll be interesting to see what credit they get for this,
Well, this year they're not going to get any credit.
Well, the funny thing is, will they not? If they make a run in the postseason, are we going to credit John Seidler?
Yeah, I would.
I would credit AJ Preller, truthfully.
Yeah,
for doing it under.
But you're
the
not going to credit
what,
new ownership.
No, but I mean, it's just interesting that they walk into a situation where like they're walking into a nice house potentially. Not a complete rebuild. All right, Joe Block on the other side, radio broadcaster for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pirates and Padres playing game 2 tonight with Paul Skenes on the mound for Pittsburgh. He'll join us live next on Schaefer and Sliwa.
Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network, presented by iHeartAdvertising.com. The Pirates and Padres are getting set for game 2 of their series tonight down at Petco Park. It's going to be Paul Skenes going for the Pirates and Michael King on the hill for the Friars. First pitch tonight is at 6:40. Today, NASCAR announced that it will return to Naval Base Coronado in 2027. And next year's event is slated for August 1st. And the Big Ten has passed a rule that stops players from returning from the NFL to playing for one of its schools. Any player that has declared for the NFL draft and did not withdraw, has appeared on an NFL roster, or signed a contract with a pro league cannot be on a Big Ten roster, the league announced today in a statement. Run a business and not thinking about radio? Think again, because people are listening to radio more today than they did 20 years ago. And only iHeartRadio connects with more Americans than TV, digital, and even social. Learn how radio can help your business. Call 844-844-iHeart.
All right, final hour of Schaefer and Sliwa. Let's connect with the radio broadcaster for the Pittsburgh Pirates, Joe Block, with us right now here on San Diego Sports 760. Game 2 coming up in about 90 minutes downtown at Petco Park. So, Joe, we appreciate you taking time for us here this afternoon. I wanted to start with last night because you've caught a lot of games, major leagues, minor leagues. How often do you find yourself in a game where you kind of say to yourself, like, man, I've caught a lot of games and I've never seen something exactly like what's playing out here tonight, which is a little bit about the way last night played out in the end?
Well, I have seen that a lot. where teams can't hit, is that late in the game? Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, 2 for 28 runners in scoring position, and then like the Pirates have a dude that strikes out 3 straight with a runner in scoring position. I just felt like it had all these twists and turns and quirks to it that were a little unique.
Yeah, I mean, and at least for me, you know, even 15 years ago, I think guys hit differently. You know, almost everybody now is trying to pull. It seems like they're trying to hit home runs, not exclusively, but, you know, Nick Gonzalez of the Pirates gets on top of, you know, that riding fastball from Morejon and, you know, is able to hit it back up the middle. And that, to me, that was the kind of hitting that I remember watching growing up and certainly as a younger adult too. And so I think that's changed so much. So, you know, he's the guy that gets the big hit, and no surprise because, you know, of his approach, I think, at the plate. So, you know, so much, you know, both teams late in the game, you know, how do you execute? You know, you get that automatic runner at second base. You just want to put a ball in play to start. We saw the bunting was terrible for the Padres. I mean, just not even the execution, but trying to bunt to first base when you bunt to third, when you have a runner at second base, you're trying to bunt to third, he vacates, and then that way the runner advances on a sacrifice. So just seeing really poor execution by both teams, you know, offensively in the extra innings, it's just you know, indicative of pretty much how most of the teams hit these days in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, it was ugly, and you said it right. Just from a hitting perspective, we're as frustrated as can be at Jackson Merrill swinging at three pitches, none of them in the strike zone, and clearly such a key situation there. Like you mentioned, just put the ball in play and see what happens. I want to just get your thoughts tonight's game, and for a lot of Padre fans here. They're playing great baseball, and they've put themselves in a position for another wild card spot. Paul Skenes on the mound for Pittsburgh. So immediately we see that name, and we're just going to assume, wow, here's a player that is going to shove, and he'll probably be phenomenal and one of the better pitchers in all of baseball. Can you, just for those who haven't got to see him every single game this year like you have, tell us a little bit about kind of his ups and his downs and how he's been pitching as of late, not the Paul Skenes that I think most people think of.
Yeah, the first, you know, 6 weeks of the season, he, you know, with opening day excluded, he pretty much pitched like he has, even with the velocity being down. And then even since then, The velocity is down for him. I mean, he's still throwing 96, 97. The fastball still plays. He's still getting elite swing and miss on his fastball. But the command's not where it was. And he was, I think, the best starting pitcher command-wise in baseball for, 2+ seasons. He's not that pitcher now. It doesn't mean he can't get back there. A lot of people that know way more about pitching than I do say, his mechanics are off. And that can cause command issues too. So velocity is a tick down. The command is not, surgical like it was before. And so, he's getting hit a little bit more. It also means, he's walking guys. He doesn't typically walk guys. I think 4 walks in, 3 of his last 4 starts, something like that. And then, so you're walking guys, you're behind in counts a lot. Guys will get more hits off you. Your hitters counts. And then it takes you longer to get through innings. So that's why we're seeing these starts 4 1/3, things like that. So, if he pitches like he has been, the Padres are going to have a lead against him when he leaves the game in the 5th inning. That's kind of what he's been doing. But we've also seen at times where maybe he does rein in that command a little bit better, and he can pitch 6 or 7 innings. So he's Paul Skenes. So, you can't help him out anything at all, I guess, in the game. Otherwise, you're going to have a rough night. But he hasn't been the same, really since the middle of May or so.
Joe Block, radio broadcaster for the Pirates. Again, Pirates coming up tonight at Petco at 6:40, joining us right now on San Diego Sports 760. So walk us through how this has played out kind of since the deadline, because the Pirates, aggressively addressed their bullpen woes. But as a team, obviously, have really struggled here throughout the course of August and have fallen all the way back right now in the wild card race. So why have they played so poorly? What are they, 8-17 or 9-17 in the last 26 games? What's gone wrong here over the last month?
Starting pitching. When Paul Skenes starts, the Pirates are 10-16. And he what? So, his ERA since mid-May is over 5. Carmen Majinski has not worked out going back to the rotation. Jared Jones, at times, in July, he was fantastic. August, he has not been. Bubba Chandler's a rookie, and, he's pitched okay. Ups and downs. You expect that from a rookie, very talented. Ashcraft even had some bumps in the road in July. And he's the only guy that's even gotten an out in the starting pitcher for the Pirates. Last 3 turns in the rotation. So you got one guy really that's given you a decent start for 3 weeks now. And, you're already in a hole for a lot of these games because you have to use your bullpen so much. Now, you talked about them improving the bullpen. Last night was really the first game where the starter goes 6+, then you turn it over to the bullpen with a lead. And the Pirates have not had that since the trade deadline. So we got to see what it was, built to do. And, Weaver gave up a run, but okay, 1 run in 3 innings, and then the bullpen in extra innings allows nothing. That was a good night for the Pirates pen. So the Padres have an excellent bullpen. I mean, terrific. And so for them to, match wits, so to speak, with them in a game like that, that was good. That was a real good test for the Pirates pen. But again, if you're getting, 4 1/3, most nights from your starters, you're already behind in a lot of these games. So, and they haven't hit quite like they have earlier in the season, but they're still a really good offense. So that has masked some of that at times, but it hasn't lately.
Well, Joe, glad the Padres got the Pirates right back into line yesterday. So that's great to see that they had one of their better pitching performances against the Pods. I'd love to get your thoughts on just San Diego in general. I mean, yesterday, John and I were fortunate enough to be down there, and new ownership announced with the Padres. We know they go for that $3.9 billion valuation. All the way on the other side of the country, how do people, and maybe this is just specific to yourself and people in Pittsburgh, how do they view the Padres? They've been in the mix here now for a handful of years. Obviously, it's been since 1998 since they've been in a World Series. They've never won a World Series, but what is the perception of the Padres today in areas like Pittsburgh?
I would say, in recent years, clearly they're spending to acquire talent and then signing them to long-term deals. And so there's a lot of talent with the Padres. So I can't really compare them to maybe some past years because it was a different type of organization at that time, I think. But, last few years, certainly they've got a ton of talent. They are competing. And I think it was surprising to me seeing them out of playoff position, at the break or, a little bit before the break, in June, Tatis isn't hitting and Merrill's not hitting. And, Bogart still hasn't hit 20 home runs as a Padre. That's surprising me, things like that. But now here they are. They've added to the team at the deadline, and here they are in playoff position. You expect that, I think, with all the talent that's here. So for me, at least, just watching, baseball, in aggregate, it's, they're about where they should be, I think. Competitive team that should qualify for the postseason, can make a run because they have enough pitching, certainly. And this lineup is no easy task. Ashcraft, by the way, has been really, really good lately. So, you look at what the Padres did last night, and, they only get a run because of a balk call. And, that's because of Ashcraft. I don't think that has anything to do with the Padre lineup. So this is a good team, and it could be a great team if they keep playing like this the rest of the season and in the postseason. Maybe this is the year that they do win the World Series, because this is such a great city and it's a great baseball town. And we all love coming here, and hopefully for the fans here that they get to thrill them all the way deep into October.
From your mouth to potentially Padres fans here today. Joe Block with us right now. Final one for me, Joe, would be about the future of Paul Skenes. How much of the conversation in Pittsburgh among Pirates fans is constantly about what's going to happen next for Paul Skenes?
None. It's still so early in his career. The Pirates are guaranteed to have him for 6 years. This is year 3. And no one, maybe Dwight Gooden, I don't know, Herb Score, no one pitched better really the first 2 years as a starting pitcher in the big leagues than him, and so, okay, now this year he started off that way again. And, this is a long stretch of, mediocrity, and it looks pretty fixable if it's mechanics. You never really know what's going on. It's been, we're not privy to, the inner workings, but, so he's capable at a very young age, really right out of the gates, of being the best pitcher in baseball and one of the best pitchers ever for a 2-year span. So the sky's the limit, and he's not pitching it like it right now, but that doesn't mean that he can't get back there. He's 24 years old. So I don't think really anybody's thinking anything other than, this year the Pirates had more talent than they've had in a long time, and you expect them to have been in a better spot. And I think there's a lot of different reasons why, but when you look at just one player, and, the team just hasn't won with him on the mound, this year and last year, even last year is more run support. This year it's just, he hasn't pitched very well in the last 3 months. So, and he's got to pitch better. And I think Pirate fans are just hoping that he does.
Joe, appreciate you taking time for us. Enjoy the quick stay in San Diego, and thanks for hopping on, man.
Always a pleasure. Thanks, guys.
All right, great
Thank you,
stuff.
man.
Joe Block, radio broadcaster for the Pirates.
That voice, real quick.
Sounds like baseball on AM radio.
Brother,
right?
I can listen to that voice. I'm good with that. That's phenomenal.
He's been he called games with the Brewers. He's called games with the Pirates.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. Joe Block. The one part about, when I said how much of the chatter is about Paul Skenes' future in Pittsburgh, he said none. That's interesting, because I feel like that's the chatter around baseball. Like his future is constantly discussed among baseball fans. Speaking to the inequities of the sport, oftentimes people would point directly at Paul Skenes and his future. All right, we are here until 6 p.m. We do have tickets to give away, a 4-pack of tickets, the San Diego Wave coming up on Friday. We'll do that next on Schaefer and Sliwa. Something big is coming on September 2nd. DraftKings Game Day arrives with massive deals, exclusive deals, and an all-day celebration built for sports fans. The countdown has begun. All roads lead to game day.
The DraftKings Sports app is now live in all 50 states. That means California, from Texas to Florida. Every fan is in on the excitement. One app, every sport, all 50 states. DraftKings Game Day is yours. Remember the date, September 2nd. DraftKings Game Day is the kickoff of a new season, a new era, and the biggest day in sports history. Get pumped and get ready to celebrate. New DraftKings customers sign up with the code SD760. Spend $5 to get $200 in rewards within 21 days. That's code SD760.
In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click to claim. Issued in non-withdrawable predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. Terms dkng.co/predictions promo. Nationwide based on sportsbook predictions and free-to-play sports contest availability. Varies by state. All right, Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760.
Can I remind you of something real quick here? SCFC is back home at Snapdragon Stadium this Saturday night when they take on the LA Galaxy. Our coverage with Adrian and Darren begins at 7 p.m. on your home for SCFC, San Diego Sports 760. By the way, that's a game.
That is a game.
That's arguably the biggest game MLS will have this weekend, based off the Chucky.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Chucky with the Galaxy.
Yep.
STFC coming off a win where you were. You were at the match this past weekend.
Yeah. Awesome.
Right now in a position to be in position where you're a win away from probably being in a playoff spot.
You gotta, if you get 3 points this weekend, you're probably in that top 9 spot.
Right. Exactly.
And more importantly, what you could do is you kind of separate yourself a little bit from the Galaxy, because I think the Galaxy are 1 point behind them. So it's a key game for both of these squads here. Galaxy, I'm sure, probably happy with a tie. But for SDFC, if you're going to, how big would that be? Galaxy fall 4 points behind from you. You kind of gain ground on a few of these teams that are in front of you. And we'll try to get a little bit closer to what your goal was. You said 4 of 5 games, you needed 10 points.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, I'm just looking like Chucky, since getting to LA, has made think I have this right. He's made 3 appearances, 1 start. That's exactly what he's done. He's made 3 appearances, 1 start. He has not recorded a goal or an assist in those 3 matches.
Is this last? Does it say which game he started? Was it the last one?
No, he went substitute, starter, substitute. They've gone loss, win, draw in the 3 matches in which he has appeared for the Galaxy. I mean, he spent literally a year without playing.
I wonder if 100%. That could have something to affect it. But I wonder if Saturday's game, like, is there a situation he's not starting?
I would think he would, right?
I think he would.
All of a sudden,
there's a little bit of
this,
this, like,
yeah.
And by the way, you know what's so interesting? It's a good storyline, but I think here's what's interesting to me. What's interesting to me is, as much as he might have a chip on his shoulder, I'm sure there's people for SDFC, they're going to have a chip on their shoulder based off of, like...
I was thinking more that way, truthfully.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm thinking more advantage SDFC than advantage Chucky or LA Galaxy. It's more of an SDFC story, isn't it? This played out it was a 2-year saga from before the franchise existed to the way the last year played out.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think it's advantageous, maybe.
As in, I think there's more of a, we're going to win without you. Now, that doesn't mean that Chucky doesn't obviously have a say in that. And it doesn't mean that the Galaxy might not be desperate for, like, this shot of energy that maybe they haven't had all season. Maybe this is kind of their volt to kind of get back into whatever they're doing. So
it's one of these stories too, and there has been reporting on it, by the way, but it is still very unique the way the situation played out in San Diego with Lozano. Is it not? For a player of his caliber, paid among the highest in the history of Major League Soccer, or actively, he was making $9 million a year, to be literally the face of a franchise and then a pariah in the same year. Maybe we've seen it before. I mean, we've seen Tatis have highs and lows, and because of circumstances on and off fields. But this all happened. You were the face of the franchise in the same year that you were a pariah.
This is the unique thing about what SDFC did, which I don't think is common in sports.
Put their foot down.
Yeah. Usually it's like, no. If we got talent, by the way, let's put talent away for a second. We got a marketable player that sells jerseys.
Right.
I went this weekend.
Yeah.
There's Chucky jerseys still.
That's a good point.
They're probably like, well, freaking spent $80, $100. I'm wearing a jersey. But I think what made the situation so unique, it's like franchises don't typically say, well, pump the brakes here. We're not going to allow the player to dictate what happens with the team. And I think from like just a straight principle culture thing, that was an interesting move by SCFC. And look, we are critical early in the season too, and we could still be critical. It's like, could they have used him?
Right.
Was this the right decision? And I don't know if the story has not been written yet. The full story hasn't been written yet. And now he's with the Galaxy. And if you told me that SDFC ended up 10th and the Galaxy ended up 9th in the postseason,
right,
then we can have a different conversation. But maybe it was better the chapter turned and they moved on.
Yeah, I'm fascinated to see how this plays out this weekend in San Diego. Again, we've got these tickets as well to see the Wave at home Friday night, Snapdragon Stadium. We're going to give those away coming up, so stay with us for your chance to win that 4-pack of tickets to see the San Diego Wave coming up on Friday night. Okay. On the other side,
I'm just going to say this real quick on the tickets for Friday. So if you want to see, I mean, San Diego Wave have been phenomenal this year. 5th right now in the standings, 36 points total, tied with Utah, and just 2 points off of the number 2 spot of the entire NWSL. So they've been great. If you haven't got a chance to watch them, those tickets are very valuable to see the other great soccer team in San Diego as well.
If you want them, you can hit us up right now on the Talkback mic. So you can open up the iHeartRadio app, search for San Diego Sports 760, click the red Talkback mic, tell us your name and where you're listening from. By doing that, you're automatically entered to win a 4-pack of tickets to see the Wave here at home on Friday night. Open the app, search for 760, click the red Talkback mic. On the other side, who would you rather keep in 2027? A pair of Padres. Who would you rather keep? We'll discuss that on the other side here until 6 p.m. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network, presented by iHeartAdvertising.com. Padres and Pirates are getting set for game 2 of their series down at Petco Park. It's going to be Paul Skenes going for Pittsburgh and Michael King on the hill for the Friars. First pitch tonight is at 6:40. Today, NASCAR announced that it will be returning to San Diego and Naval Base Coronado in 2027. They said today that next year's event is slated for August 1st. And the Big Ten has passed a rule that stops players returning from the NFL for playing for one of its schools. They said any player who has declared for the NFL draft and did not withdraw or appear on an NFL roster or signed a contract with a pro league cannot be on a Big Ten roster. And then not too long ago, the SEC followed suit and said that no NFL, NBA, or WNBA players can return to the SEC. Running business and not thinking about radio? Think again, because people are listening to radio more today than they did 20 years ago, and only iHeartRadio connects with more Americans than TV, digital, and even social. Learn how radio can help your business. Call 844-844-iHeart.
All right, Schaefer and Slee with San Diego Sports 760. Again, if you want those San Diego Wave tickets for Friday night, let us know your name and where you are listening from on our TalkBack mic. Open the iHeartRadio app, search for San Diego Sports 760, and click that red TalkBack microphone.
We'll hook you up after that.
Oh, we were going to hook you up. Here was my quick question.
Okay.
If you could only keep one for 2027, who are you keeping and why? Adrian Morahone, who is a free agent at the end of the year.
Ooh.
Ty France, who is a free agent at the end of this year. You are keeping one.
All
who
right.
And why?
Now, am I looking at this? Let me give you both sides here. Okay. So Adrian Morahone, his role has been unbelievable for the Padres this year. And I think we probably don't talk about him enough because there's some distractions with some other great players, specifically Mason Miller,
Sure,
who closes out games. But Adrian Morahone, if I'm correct, pretty expensive, right?
Oh, it's going to cost you,
Pretty expensive.
4 or 5 year deal, 18-20 million a year.
Okay.
Yep.
Ty France,
Yep. Cheaper.
a lot cheaper, but has put up phenomenal numbers. I mean, if I'm right, Ty France let's see, Machado leading the Padres right now in homers, right? I want to
Correct.
say Jackson Merrill probably second, Ty France third, then Tatis. Maybe Sheet somewhere in that mix.
Who did you say second? Does Merrill have more than France?
I'm going to assume Merrill
How many
does.
home runs does Merrill have?
I'll take a look at
What's
it.
your guess?
Merrill in the 20 range? Is he 20,
He's in the
21?
20 range. Yeah.
I don't think Ty France is in the 20 range.
No,
I
he's
think he's
not
like 19.
20.
or
You're right.
something like
Merrill's
that.
got 21.
Okay.
All right. Merrill's second. So Machado, Merrill,
Ty
France.
France.
Yeah.
And then Tatis, obviously,
Yeah.
with what he's been doing.
Yep.
I think I'd rather have. I think Adrian Morahone for me would be a kind of the staple piece in the bullpen, and we know obviously how important bullpen pieces are. I think I'd go Adrian Morahone in that pick.
I like how you broke it down. I think you're right. I think if an organization is choosing the value of having a shutdown reliever, although there's great value in having a productive hitter in your lineup, like Ty France has been. He's in the midst of a career
He's been
year.
a revelation.
Morahone has now done this for a couple of years. If money wasn't an object, I think I would keep Morahone. I will say this, man. I love Ty France.
I know.
And
He's been
I'm
a
saying
stud.
it. I'm not really saying it objectively. It's the San Diego State tie,
Of course.
the Tony Gwynn tie, going back to the Aztecs, starting his major league career here, coming back around here and having this type of season as a minor league free agent. Think about that. He was signed as a minor league free agent. He broke camp with the team. Very unlikely story. I love the story, but if you had to choose one, it's a bit of a Sophie's choice. They're both valuable. I think I'd have to go with Morahone. I think it's more likely, though, that France is back and Morahone isn't.
They just don't pay him.
Just a lot of money.
I know, for a
a guy
reliever.
that could get closer money but not be a closer.
Yeah.
Is what I would guess.
I get it. I understand that. I mean, what? Okay, so what? Let's just. You get new ownership that comes into play. How disappointed would you be if, like, what's the number that you're like they should have brought him back?
Well, I like that.
4 years, 60.
Yeah, definitely.
He's back.
Yeah, I would think
4
so.
years, 80. He's gone.
maybe the years become a concern with relievers or pitchers
Of
because at
course.
some point it's going to be a problem. Like if there's an arm situation, now you're eating tens of millions.
Mhm.
There's no hope if it's something serious.
Is Jason
potentially.
Adam a free agent as well after this year?
Man, that is a really good question.
I'm just asking too because
Yeah.
I think the question is how much you already have a bullpen in play, even if
He's a
Morihon's not
free
there.
agent.
But more. Oh, that's right. Jason Adam is
So
too.
with Adam,
That's right because they brought him in last year.
so is it more reasonable? Of course, Adam is not going to command the same dollar
No.
figure as Morihone, but he has great
Morihone.
value.
Morihon's been a freaking just.
I would guess when
Stud.
Morihone hits the market, dude, someone's going to be like, I'm going to pay you like a top 5 closer, even though you've never closed.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's getting paid like a top 5 closer, how can AJ Preller or Kwanzaa Jones or
Justify
Feliciano say, well, I'm going to pay him as a top 5 closer. He's not even going to close for us.
Yeah. The other thing too with Morihone is like I don't think there's going to be any doubt that man cannot walk into a closer role and start closing games.
Right. Like if you put him tomorrow, I'm making it up, on the San Francisco Giants,
Mhm.
just whatever, he's going to be successful.
Yeah.
If he's able to
Somebody
stay
on that.
healthy and pitch the way he's pitched. It is interesting. You talk about some of these free agents, and I want to see this thing out. I'm very excited about what's to come in the weeks ahead.
100%.
But there's a lot of decisions coming for Jose Feliciano and Kwanzaa Jones.
But you know what's so funny? It's like we spent so much time talking about the trade deadline. I was so happy to get
Mhm.
past that because now we get back to
Into
baseball.
Yep.
And I think to talk about next season, brother, we don't even know what the structure is going to look like.
Yeah, we don't even
We
know.
have no
when
idea if there'll be
Yeah.
games that will be missed. We have no idea. There's so many factors that are in play between now and the time pitchers and catchers report in that
Oh.
third week of February, whatever that is.
It could be the
So-
third week of July.
I know.
For all we know.
You're right. Like it really can. So that part's a little bit tougher. I will. Let me throw one piece
Yeah.
of news out there too
Give it to me.
for those who are looking. Jeff Sanders, part of the UT. Casey Mize played catch yesterday. Will do so again today and throw a bullpen tomorrow. His schedule is shifted back a day so far by the ankle. Says he's feeling better.
All right,
So they got
he's
that
only
off
pushed back
day.
a day.
So they for now, but he's got that off day on Thursday. So I think there was some conversation of like, naturally there is an off day for him. So is he pitching on Friday? Or is this a naturally, since there's an off day, everybody just goes 5 days of rest and Casey Mize misses a start? Well, we'll find out.
Honestly, I'm cool with either.
Well, here's the thing. Like, there's a part of me that's the only thing I care about at this point is nobody's saying that it was something that we got to worry about or that's
Exactly.
lingering or, hey, this guy's going to miss 3-4 starts and we're not sure if he's going to be back.
Once you saw it, it looked as if it wasn't going to be something of great significance. Now, it did look like he tweaked an ankle, and it obviously impacted him in real time.
Went from he's stolen like 88 in that third.
If he needs to skip a turn of the rotation and have 9 or 10 day layoff between starts, there are worse things than that for pitchers because you always fear anything arm, groin,
Of course.
mechanic related. Now, of course, anything can impact your mechanics, right? All the way up and down. But I am hopeful that they dodged what could have been awful. You see a starting pitcher leave a mound. Oftentimes your mind goes to, I'm not going to see him again.
Can I give you one?
I know where you're going.
Pavetta.
Who, by the way, is pitching in a few minutes, right?
Right.
He's
Is he
pitching
now
for Lake
Paso?
Elsinore.
Oh, that's right. Lake Elsinore. Yeah,
So
I
he's
saw
gonna be
that too.
pitching for Lake Elsinore.
But Pavetta was like, bro, I remember exactly what I was doing, where I was at, and feeling good about the Padres start. And then my stomach churned.
I remember. Yeah.
I'm like, tell me Nick Pavetta is not leaving the game right now. That was the last time we saw Nick Pavetta. That was in April. I think it was his 4th start, or he made 4 starts. That was his 5th, something like that.
I was at a 7-year-old's birthday party, not my own 7-year-old's, but I wasn't just hanging out at a 7-year-old's birthday party. For clarification.
Sure.
I was with my son who is 7.
I don't think you need to clarify that.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
But we were at like one of those like fun zone arcades. And we're winning. We're playing
100%.
skee ball. I mean, we're
Is this tickets coming out?
Tickets. No, but now they do them digitally.
What do you
They're
mean
like
they do
on
them
your
digitally?
card? The tickets don't come out. You play skee ball, you swipe your card,
Okay.
it takes the credits out like it's 4 tokens.
Oh, we
and
don't
then they
want
put
that. No,
50
because I
tickets on
need
there.
paper. Like
I used to love that.
want.
You
Well,
collect
you
them?
got to have the paper too, because I also don't trust that industry. You know what I mean?
The
'Cause
arcade token
for
industry.
all I know,
Yeah.
that's 6 other tickets that I would have got. By the way, with the ticket thing back in the day,
You could pull it further.
You could slowly,
You could pull
if
it
you
further.
pull it
I
slowly
love
further out, you're getting 3-4 more tickets that
Man.
you weren't originally going to get.
Were those not great times of a childhood going to an arcade? And
You ever
that's where
see- you ever
I
see-
was, and that's when I found out Pavetta went out to the injury.
Do you ever see on like feeds? I had to delete Instagram yesterday. I told you that.
you need to tell us about that on the other side.
Okay.
But I like.
But do you
why are
ever
doing
see?
that?
Do you ever see feeds where part of the feed is like it would be like this is for 90s kids or 80s kids. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
And it will get like
and
some-
it shows you all the
some
things
music
that
on
remind
some
you
of
of.
that.
Yeah,
A little depressing. Not gonna lie when I see some of that stuff.
depressing because like
It's just sad.
You're never
Like, it
going
was-
back there.
It's like a memory that,
Yeah,
and it comes out of nowhere.
I
Like
know.
here you are just scrolling whatever. I'm watching a dog video, and then all of a sudden I gotta like be taken
Dude,
back to the 90s
You know, it's funny you
with
say that,
Tetris.
though. That's why I've gotten into cards, though. I love the like trip down memory lane.
Takes you down.
Yeah, I love
no.
that, and I think I like doing it with my son. It just reminds me of being young, and
Yeah.
there's something about that.
And also you're like
I enjoy it.
living so
Vicariously.
much on the edge because
I live dangerously.
you have to hide it.
Yeah. I had with the cards.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
You're like a criminal that
Well,
is freaking dodging
I mean,
the.
are there worse things in the world than buying sport? Now I have a lot of cards here.
Okay, listen.
Okay.
Listen. Of course, what
I
you're
have
doing,
cards.
there's nothing wrong with. Now, I don't know what the finances look like. I don't know how much is going down
Well,
with some of these.
You can't take
But
it with you,
here's-
Alan.
Here's where it gets.
Jones doesn't need college anyways.
Here's here's where it gets dicey for me. I got no issue with anything you're doing here.
But there's a but.
The only dicey thing for me is
I can't wait to hear this.
it's being delivered here and not at your home.
Well, I'm not buying.
That's where it gets
I'm not
dicey.
buying and selling like they're sports cards.
I know what they are.
I just feel
But
like my
there's a
wife may
little-
have questions every day if I came home from work.
That's the
And she's
point.
like, why is Joe sending you things from Norman, Oklahoma?
That's why it gets dicey.
I'm
It
like,
gets
they're media
dicey
guides.
because you.
The West Virginia Media Guide, honey.
That's funny.
All right. I
That's
want to
so
know
funny.
why you deleted Instagram.
Had to go.
We need to announce a winner for a 4-pack of tickets to see the San Diego Wave. If you want those tickets, that's for this Friday night. Just tell us why, your
Actually,
name,
would really like to go.
where you're listening from. Alan may be there on Friday night. I'm going to be away this weekend, but Alan may be there. If you want that 4-pack of tickets to see the Wave, hit us up on the iHeartRadio app, search for 760, click the red talkback mic. What do you got?
I just looked at our.
Oh, by the way, you were so
Why was I so far
I wanted to say
off
something.
the screen?
This is like,
Well,
you
I
were
didn't-
so
I didn't touch
far off
anything.
the screen. No, you did. This
How
is
come nobody
like,
said
look
anything?
at me right now. This was you. This was you for like 30 minutes.
Anybody say anything on YouTube? Nothing.
No, nobody said anything. Nobody said anything. All right, stay
Just
with
got
us.
my
We'll give away
back
those
here.
tickets on the other side. Plus, Alan explains why he deleted Instagram.
Had
That's
to
next.
go, man.
All right, San Diego Sports 760 here until 6 p.m. Tell us this story, Alan. About Instagram. Yeah,
Just had to go, man. Okay,
why do you say that?
Are all those apps? I mean, it goes and then it eventually comes back. Do you got every app? I mean, every app just in on your phone.
I'm not a TikTok, Snapchat. I don't touch them.
I don't have those.
Twitter.
I got
Instagram,
YouTube,
Facebook,
X, and no. I got X, YouTube, and Instagram.
Now, take YouTube out. YouTube is not social. It's like content.
Yeah, but YouTube is like phenomenal.
It's
because
amazing.
I mean, you can do YouTube Shorts. It's the same thing.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But YouTube is I can just play a podcast. I don't have to be staring at my phone.
Educational, entertaining.
I can be an idiot too. I mean, I could listen.
But you can also learn a lot of things.
Well, I guess my point is that the difference with YouTube is if it's on my phone, I could play something and my phone could be over there. Instagram.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, I see.
Instagram. So yesterday, I'm trying to go to bed.
And you're on your phone.
By the way, even during the Padres game yesterday, I'm like, all right, just on my phone, just on Instagram.
I know. I see what you're saying.
Brother, that thing is
Very
so
addicting.
damn addictive.
Yeah.
And
Like
everything
the
is
doom
like
scroll kind of. You just go and
6
go.
seconds, 8 seconds. I
Yeah.
look at the clock. I'm like,
What am I
did
doing?
an hour just go by like that?
Yeah, just scrolling.
So I mean, and then you're like locked in because you're not tired, whatever the light does, all that stuff. Well, it's like 1 o'clock yesterday. I'm like, I can't fall asleep. So
It was 1 a.m.
1 a.m.
Okay.
So I had to delete the app. App is gone. Now, how long is it gone for? It could be gone for a day.
But
It could be gone for a month.
But you are not an addictive social media user, at least in my experience with you. Okay, so you used Instagram for an hour.
I'm not, but that stuff is wildly like I don't even know how kids do it. Like, how does your kid do it? How are these? Like,
He
and
doesn't
I
have no
listen.
social media.
I could be, but how are these kids like? This is all they know.
I know, and it's not good for your brain.
Of course, it's not. I felt like I was like at a casino, and I don't even gamble.
Yeah, just
but like I
swipe,
felt like I was at a
swipe.
vending or not a vending machine, like a slot machine,
Yeah.
just like. So it had to go.
But it's interesting
Had
because
to go.
you don't use Twitter on your phone, or do you?
No, I don't.
So he doesn't have Twitter on his phone. Him being you,
Mhm.
you don't have Instagram.
So I'm always late. Like if something happens, if Shams puts out a tweet,
Yeah.
I find out about it over the weekend. Like I'll
Yeah,
find out on
I was like-
Saturday at a cookout.
I was like, did you see that the Knicks won the title? You're like, what?
Win
Sport?
it.
Knicks, New York's basketball team. Yeah, like
They're in the mix.
right. So you don't,
But
you
Insta-
don't feel like you're
Instagram
missing
is
out.
one.
You don't have that FOMO.
Well, I think we're in front of our laptop enough. Like I'm in front of my laptop in the mornings for work.
Yep.
We're doing a show here. I mean,
Yeah,
a lot
we
of
see
times you and
everything.
I are just freaking
Yep.
on here. So no, not really all that much, but I had to get rid of it. I was like, yeah, this thing's got to go. This thing's got to go.
Okay, so it's just here's the thing. I agree with what you're saying.
Mhm.
It's highly addictive. I spend too much time on it. I try to. The one thing I've told myself is I will do everything in my power to avoid the endless scroll. Like I want to be intentional with the usage of it. Someone posted something, a friend, you look at it, but I'm not just randomly in the for you sections. Like I intentionally avoid that part of it.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, this is like, dude, think about the world pre and post social. That's like a defining point.
Mhm.
Like what was happening before social, what's been happening since social. Like it's pretty
What's crazy?
wild.
What's crazy to me is like people that don't know that world before it. Now we're all kind of wrapped into it.
Yeah,
but
you're saying if you're like 17, you don't know the world before it, or if you're
yeah,
21.
what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah. And I was
You're
in college, you couldn't use Facebook unless you had a .edu.
Mm.
Like I was like, what is this? You know, I did as in I was never, we grew up, you and I,
Yeah.
where we weren't like, that wasn't a big focal point. I mean, I grew up, a cell phone wasn't a big focal point. People started getting cell phones
Sure.
later in high school or in college. But you know what though? And I said this earlier, like our generation or our parents would be like, oh, our kids are watching too much TV and they play video games. And now this generation is like, oh, they're on TikTok and they're on social media. Is it just a generational thing that it's always going to be happening like this? It'll be the next generation doing something.
I feel like this one might be a little
Further than
different.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
this one might
probably.
be a little different.
So when are you putting
But,
Instagram back on your phone?
Probably
Tonight?
by 8 o'clock. I'll get that thing back
4:30.
on there. And this is all, everything that we just basically said is why they need to get Skenes early tonight.
This is why they need to get
This
to
is why
Skenes
they got to
early,
get Skenes early tonight.
because of the shorts on Instagram.
By the way, how about the radio broadcaster that you brought on, the voice of
Joe
the Pirates? Yeah. First off, he was phenomenal. But when he started breaking down, he's like, We haven't had a start like that since the All-Star game.
We haven't had a start like that all year, man. It was incredible.
Our
We haven't
bullpen
used our bullpen for months.
that was the most. It was basically like absolutely a perfect day for Pittsburgh yesterday. Every time I hear that, and I know every fan base feels this way.
So true.
It's like, of course that happened yesterday.
Dude, I would be much more, and I did the hour-long wrap-up. I would have been much more critical today and even last night if they weren't playing so well. Like, you do have to, at the end of the day with a sport like baseball, be like, yeah, sometimes you're just going to like end up in a game like that.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense. And yes, they should have won.
Mm-hmm.
But like, dude, if they were the Pirates and they lost that game and everything's going wrong, the sky is completely falling.
Sure.
But they're not in that situation. So I'm still as optimistic as I was 24 hours ago.
And they've had like a lot of things that have, the optimistic of 24 hours ago. This game tonight to me like becomes kind of a critical one because you're either, if you lose, let's just say hypothetically, you lose tonight, you've lost 2 in a row, not a big deal. But if Arizona wins, now it's like, no, there's this just real true threat. Everything we've been talking about here for the last 30 days, 45 days. Now there's like a real true threat that you could be on the outside looking in again. And what I thought last night was it would have been the first time you had a 3-game cushion. Yep. And it's like, is the tide starting to churn where one team could be falling back the other way? The storylines behind Arizona has more to do with their best player and his situation and not being there. And I think he comes back next week, where I thought that the loss last night it allowed some teams, including Arizona, take a deep breath like, hey, we're still right there.
The Ketel Marte situation, which we haven't mentioned a couple of days, is truly bizarre.
I don't know if I know the full.
Torey Lovello saying he felt betrayed by his player, who he's known for forever, to him showing up. He was at a casino when the Diamondbacks were playing the other night, 3 nights ago, in the Phoenix area. He was at the casino in public with like, what?
Get out of here.
Yes, absolutely. People had him on social media at the casino the other night.
During the game?
I mean, I think the team was in the East and he was in the West or whatever was playing out. The whole thing's bizarre. And now he's coming back. But like you derailed everything is how I see it. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he hasn't derailed everything. The season's not over.
No, but I mean, okay, well, let's go. Let's play this out. Padres are in New York for a series. Tatis leaves the team.
And he's in a casino
and he's
San Diego.
Humble Casino. What?
Yeah, it would be a massive sports story in San Diego. Massive. Huge.
He'd get crucified.
It's all we talk about on Sports Talk Radio. Thankfully, that didn't happen.
Now, what if he was at the Tony Gwynn bar? Having some food there.
Then it's all good. Yeah,
it's
a good spot. That's actually a good spot. That's a good call.
Connection there.
Good call. I like that. We're back tomorrow recapping the series because the Padres play tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
So we'll have Kevin Acey on after the series finale.
Now I'm kind of nervous here. We got 2 games tomorrow.
We
can't even like marinate on this game tonight.
I know. Paul Skenes tonight. 2 games between now and basically the next time we're on the air.
Let's do it.
All right, back tomorrow at 3 p.m. If you missed anything today, sportssd.com or the iHeartRadio app. For Brent and Alan, I'm John. Keep it here. Jay Fransley with San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.